What's up? Happy Wednesday, Void Jumpers, my favorite Wednesday of the week. Welcome to our show where we're going to be fighting some stuff like monsters using magic and swords. We're going to be playing this game, Monster of the Week by Michael Sands. It's a wonderful tabletop RPG that we frequently play on this show. Anyways, I have some announcements from myself. I would just like to give a special, extra warm shout out to Merc Worky, our mod and superfan, because she sent me this super charming Christmas card. I'm not going to read you what's inside, but it is very sweet, and I am very, very happy to have received it, especially in a Christmas season where we need all the help we can get. So, Merc, you're the shit, and we all love you, and you're too good for us. So thank you very much. Seriously, though, this is super sweet. Okay, that's it from me. Let's bring in the crew.
Oh, no.
We've got 3 other people and an aggressive insect.
I can't see. I don't know how it's a Skype on the phone. It's not. Oh no! Don't look at me.
What happened?
That's the best. Just close up on tag.
I can't. No, Mark. I can see Mark moving. You fuckers.
What happened to the computer?
What? It got sent in for repair.
All right. Have you considered just putting your phone down and then maybe away? Yay!
I can't. I gotta click your faces because I can't see anyone yet. And
okay, Dad.
Not that good.
Let's buy this jackass some extra time. Trin, why don't you take us on down to Democracy Corner before we plunge head first into those frigid fantasy waters?
Woohoo! Democracy Corner! Welcome back, everybody. Today we're revisiting something that I think I have already linked you to, but I'm going to extra encourage you to do it because I have now done it, and it's pretty easy, which is calling people in Georgia. You can also sign up to text people, but the message I've been getting from a lot of the organizations is they have lots of people who are willing to send texts and not as many people who are willing to get on the phone. I totally understand. I hate talking to people on the phone. People hate answering their phones. People hate talking to people who are calling them about politics. But it's super important. And I will say that I've had some really, really lovely conversations with voters in Georgia. I've talked to voters who had to wait in line for 6 hours in order to vote in the general and are still just as psyched to vote in the upcoming election. You know, I've talked to lots of people who are like, I'm getting everyone in my family to vote. And they're like little 90-year-old ladies. So yes, people will be shitty and mean, but the awesome people that you do actually get to talk to who are excited about voting will more than make up for it. The other thing I want to plug in Democracy Corner is this. You are still going to need to know the names of your local elected officials in a Biden administration. I know it's really fun to talk about how much we're all going to enjoy not knowing the postmaster's full name, but unfortunately, one thing I think we can take away from the last 4 years is that change isn't going to happen unless we make it happen. And that there is a lot of energy in a Biden administration about getting things back to a status quo. And I think we've seen in this pandemic that the status quo isn't working for a lot of people. So one of the things that's going to be under attack this year is, or this upcoming legislative session, is voting rights. So you need to be extra sure that you're paying attention to what your local officials are doing, particularly in regards to voting rights, because definitely in places like Georgia and Arizona and Texas and Pennsylvania or anywhere, generally speaking, that a Republican legislature is in control of the state, they will try and pass laws this year to make it harder for people to vote as, I don't want to say payback, but yep, payback for Trump losing the election. They will try and make it harder for people to vote. So pay attention. I'm dropping the link to how you can call for the Working Families Party. There we go, into the chat. So check them out, give them a look. It's really fun to do. You get to be on a Zoom with a bunch of other people who are making the same calls. So maybe you'll be there with me. Okay, that's Democracy Corner.
Woo! Thank you, Trin, for Democracy
Thanks,
Corner.
Trin.
Thanks, Trin.
Thanks, Trin.
Okay, I think that's it for our bric-a-brac business. So why don't we let the recap roll?
Connor, you look way better.
Thanks, man. But I think I speak for all of us when I say, you don't need to do that. We're ready to accept you as the ghost of a necromancer you are.
This is wonderful advice, and I wish somebody would have given it to me before I died 1,000 years ago and turned into a ghost, and it doesn't matter anymore.
That's weird. But putting that aside, we're letting you hang on to an HP point of ours.
And I'm going to suck on it like a Jolly Rancher.
I think the most exciting thing to do is to grab a rope and swing to the other ship.
What's up, Dad? Fuck you! Oh! I have been smoted.
You fail because this is the price you will be paying for Bryn's success.
But I haven't rolled because
I know.
I was shaking the dice. When you shake the dice, you then roll the dice.
Like you bite my cap, I bite your cap.
No. I just bite your cap, and then I walk away.
Yeah. You know that without a doubt, when you meet Summoner Capio, you will do this one action for Half-Dad before the spell is broken. You will open the door to let him back into the Blight Planet that Summoner Capio closed. All right, cool. I got a couple of our RPG announcements. We got a new item in the store. It's a werewolf perk backed by popular demand. So check that out. Feel free to summon any number of monsters that are in there. I don't even remember which ones are there specifically. And there's some other cool stuff. Bryn is still a vampire.
Thanks, Mark. I don't know how long they're going to last because they keep falling out.
Oh, did that
What?
came from a store-bought monster?
Yeah.
Wow, those effects are lingering.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I wanted to make it so that there could potentially be lasting consequences so that the store purchases do affect the story in a meaningful way so that they're not just a throwaway. And so that's why I built the vampire with the ability to turn anybody that it bit into a vampire before anybody got bit. So I had it in mind.
So this new werewolf could theoretically turn one of us into a werewolf?
Theoretically, I have stats built for anybody that catches lycanthropy. Theoretically.
You just catch it, like a virus.
Yeah, that's everybody knows all about that. Okay. Just double check, Mark. Do I still have a +1/-1? Did I have? Did I use it?
Make me fail.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Also, you guys have no fails towards turning the next test to a higher difficulty yet, because you just started your test. But it should be known that Rex is down 1 of her max HP, and Tag is down 2. So, Rex, your total HP right now is 6. Tag, yours is 5.
But I got something cool for that.
Yes. If you use the Continuum Grenade, you will get your 2 HP back. And Rex, if you use your Octopus Sucker Sneakers, you will get your 1 HP back.
Tell me exactly what they do again.
Because
I just wrote down cool shoes.
Okay. I think I know what they do. I was just seeing if I wrote down the specifics. You can use them once they have 1 charge in order to get anywhere during an encounter or a narrative moment. They will last until whatever your action is completes, and then they will disappear. But they did form over your feet like little skin slippers. And they can be used to traverse any surface vertical or otherwise, and also to walk across any kind of terrain. So you could walk across water, lava, clouds, whatever you want. But you can only use them one time, and they last for one action.
In my head, they look like what are those shoes that have the individual toes? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's this gal who always wears them to auditions.
Vibrams.
Say again?
Vibrams.
Maybe?
Toe shoes.
Toe
No,
shoes.
no shoes.
No, toe shoes are a ballet thing.
I've seen Casey rock a pair of the toe shoes.
Yeah,
Well,
Vibrams.
that's what they look like in my head, but they have like the little plastic suckers that you use to put things on your windshield. They just have those in the bottom of them.
That is exactly
I
what
was
they are, except they
imagining,
say Givenchy right on the heel.
Oh my god. Also, we just got a donation from Mark for $125. She says, I mean, it's my favorite monster. Sorry, guys, I got to be a little mean.
Okay, werewolf.
We haven't even started anything.
Uh,
I imagined that they were like just wearing octopuses on your feet, like 8 tentacles out in
Thanks,
each
Bert.
direction from each foot.
that's just cruel, though.
To the
Octopuses
no, the
are very
octopus-
smart.
They're magical. They're enchanted. It's not a real. You're not hurting the octopus.
No harm to cephalopods.
I can't see your face, Trin, on my phone because you're black, but I just saw your eyebrows at the top of the screen change shape. I think I know what face you're making of me right now. It's
Y'all, just give me 1 second so I
That
can
was
pull
the
up my
face I
werewolf
was
stats.
making.
No, I'm pretty well. Thank you, Merc. I am.
Mark, you're the
nervous,
coolest.
excited.
Yeah, this is just a Merc Stan account now.
Yep.
Halloween monsters. Okay, got the document ready. And I made a note for when
Hope everybody's doing well in chat while we're just kind of shooting the shit here, getting ready. I can't see chat, obviously. I can't see anything unless I go like this, and even then I can't see chat. But happy December.
Yeah, happy December, everybody.
Yay.
Okay, sorry, you dinguses. I'm ready.
Not a dingus.
Yeah, you can't call us today when you're goofing off.
That's fair.
Whoa.
I'm a
Okay.
dingus. I accept it.
Shall we begin?
Lost everybody. Hold on.
Goodness gracious. Okay, the werewolf is ready. Okay, so here's what's up. You climb into an armored chariot made of black wood paneling and a shell of enchanted metals. A handler works to fasten your vehicle to a pair of thunder lizards, electricity crackling over their scales. With the grinding of ancient gears, your chariot races into the arena. The crowd goes wild. Parked at the starting line, you see another of the race chariots with a riding of 4 skeletons. This vehicle is made of bones and black steel, pulled by skeletal unicorns. The third and final chariot floats above the track, shimmering, translucent, composed of ghostly panels. It's rigged to a pair of black fledgling dragons. This chariot is piloted by a team of 4 vampires. In her VIP box, lording over the crowd, Slokta raises her hand, signaling for you to get ready. A giant gong is struck, brass rings dissolve in the air, and your chariot lurches forward. All right, so here's what's up. We're going to be using a mechanic that I devised specifically for this event. At first, I was worried that it might be too hard, but then you guys rolled 3 failures on your last test, so I was like, F you. If it's too hard, that's what you get, because the difficulty's on very hard now. It's a tracking system that will incorporate successes and failures to kind of abstract your standing in the race. There are only 3 chariots. There will only be 3 positions that you can be in: leading, middling, or last. And so based on what you do, your chariot will move. You don't need to know anything about that as far as the grid that I have is concerned. For you, it'll be more of an abstract scenario, but I will always be able to tell you what position you're in the race. You need to come in first to win. And we'll be handling it as kind of 4 legs of this race. It's 4 laps to win, and each lap will consist of 4 turns. So 1 round per. This is sounding way more confusing. Basically, you all just go around in a circle and do some shit. I rearrange the standings, and then the second lap will start.
How many laps to win?
4. You just
And
have to be in first at the end of the last lap. So we won't track like standings throughout. You just need to be in first by the end.
I think at this point you are explaining the fundamental concept of races.
All right. So don't fuck it up.
So we're going against vampires with dragons and something with something?
Skeletons in a skeleton cart being pulled by skeletons.
And we've got the thunder lizards.
And you got thunder lizards. And then there's also vampires in a flying ghost cart. Now, the types of carts you're going against are based on you failing those rolls. They have specifics that they can do based on you being on hard mode instead of regular mode. So we're going to be starting this race. The gong crashes and your chariot leaps forward, as do the others. As of right now, everybody's neck and neck for the duration of the first lap. There are no rules that have been explained to you. All you know is you need to be in first by the end of this race. We're now going to take turns, and you can either spend your turn messing with the cart, attacking the other carts, or defending your cart. You can do whatever you want, but each of you will have 1 turn for this lap, and I will let you know the standings as they evolve. We're going to be starting with the wizard. You are Sam still?
Still Sam.
Okay. You want to talk to us this first lap as far as like what you guys are doing on the cart to kind of like, you know, build into your first turn where you are and how you're handling it, just to kind of give us a feel for the environment?
Well, Sam definitely is holding on to his hat, literally. And I'm going to go ahead and delay my action to ensure that we get off to a smooth start. And I'm not interested in immediately drawing negative attention to our chariot in the hopes that perhaps it's not 3v1, but maybe each of these chariots is incentivized to win. So until I have a specific grasp on the exact scenario we're in, I'm going to delay my action.
Sure. To answer your queries that may or may not be voiced, as you go around the first bend in this rather large circular track that stretches the outskirts of the arena proper, and the carts get closer together, you can see one of the skeletons ready a spear made of bleached white bone, hurl it across the front of your chariot, and smash it into the side of the vampire's vehicle. But rather than make contact, it passes straight through the ghost cart and does no damage. But you can see that the skeletons are already attacking the vampires. Does that change your thoughts, Sam, or are you still going to delay?
Yeah, I'm still going to delay because I don't want to, I'm going to spend my time assessing the speed of these chariots, trying to figure out if there appears to be a specific advantage. I don't know if there's obstacles on the track yet. There's just too many variables for me to make a fully informed action yet. So I'm gonna delay.
Okay, that brings us to the cleric. Where are you on this chariot? There's places inside. There's places on top. Where are you, Rex?
I think as the member of the party who I assume has the most familiarity with these thunder lizards, noble beasts that they are, I am probably, if they are on a reined system, I am probably at the reins.
Okay.
Trying to steer them along. And as we all know, thunder lizards are motivated by scratches on their hindquarters. So every once in a while, when I need them to speed up a little, I just kind of lean over and, just give them a little scratch.
Okay. So steering the cart will be a functional mechanic that we can make. And so I think if you're just trying to drive well, you're just going to need to roll and act under pressure.
And cool is being replaced with what again?
Dex.
Ooh. I need to write what those equivalencies are. That is an 8.
Okay, cool. With a partial success, your standing in the race does not change, but you are able to get acquainted with piloting this vehicle. Should things start to get hairy, you will have a +1 advantage when maneuvering the cart going forward. But you come around that first bend right after the spear passes through the ghost carriage and head onto the first straightaway. And you can see that as Rex gets familiar with piloting these thunder lizards, they in turn start to recognize that they are being steered and reacting to the slightest movements of the rein. And that brings us to Barbara.
Also, they make little like sounds whenever I scratch them.
Of course they do.
I'm gonna be up top, and I'm gonna look at the vampires and be like, "What's up, fellow vamps?"
You get like a couple like, yeah.
And then I'm gonna reach in my pocket and grab the last piece of bloody, rotting meat, and I'm gonna huck it at them. Hope it distracts them so they make a mistake.
Are you trying to hit the chariot or one of the vampires?
One of the vampires, right in the face.
Okay, I think this is just an attack with Dex.
Okay. Oh, and I have an extra +1 that I leveled up with, so it's a +2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10.
Cool. With a full success, you are going to slap this bloody chunk of meat right onto the driver's face. And as they fall backwards into last place, you are able to inch forward and see that you have taken the lead. You are now sitting in first. The vampires flip that meat off of their face. It falls through their chariot. You're not sure how exactly they are riding on this ghost craft, but they seem to be entwined in its magic. Every other physical object that's come into contact with it has just passed through. But with a full success, you are now in first, which brings us to the rogue tag.
You may have noticed that I was absent for those last turns as my phone restarted. But
we also can't see you.
Son of a gun!
I can see you.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see you.
All right.
Trin's the lucky one.
I can't see Trin. We can't see each other. Is anyone riding one of the lizards?
We got Rex. We got Rex sitting in the driver's seat steering them. But if you want to jump onto one of the lizards, you're more than welcome to. Oh no.
You freeze.
Let me just tag takes
You're good.
Brother. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to give you a visual tour of what I've got set up. This is my tracking system. Can you see it?
It's fancy.
It's very simple. Just using some dice. Okay, we're going to give this jackass one chance before his turn gets skipped, and we'll say that he's just on a lizard. Which does have
Rex
attack.
Is going, why?
Because surfing on a thunder lizard makes them go even faster.
Sam, we're actually going to just pick up because you passed your turn. So now that you've seen how this kind of works, you saw a partial success keep you where you were, a full success pull you up one slot. You've seen physical items pass through the ghost chariot, and you've seen the skeletons make obvious and aggressive actions. Would you like to take your turn now before the round is over?
Yeah. How far into the first lap are we?
You are Halfway. If we're just counting like turns that have been taken, at the end of Tag's turn after you, it will be the end of the first lap.
Okay. And it's just the 3 chariots, us, vamps, skellies?
Yes.
Okay. And so they're also combating. Well, let's while the vamps are in last place, why don't I fire off a magic missile at the vamps, try to drive them even further back, so in the hopes that their desperation will make them attack the second place people in an attempt to even get back in this race.
Okay, roll it.
That is a 12.
Okay. With a full success, you hold your lead. How much damage do you deal?
2 harm.
And are you trying to hit the chariot or the vampires?
The vampires.
Okay.
I'm gonna double up and hit old meat face that Bryn put a nice target on, and see if we can't add insult to injury.
Yes.
Okay. You do connect directly with old meat face. The magic missiles smack home almost as the meat is peeling off, smash into the face. And old meat face is the driver, and he falls sideways off of the chariot and tumbles onto the track, and then you guys are gone. So they are down to 3 vampires. And old meat face, you can see in the far distance, gets up and is dusting the dirt off of himself and walking off of the track. You see an official of some kind. You only know them by their striped black and white robes that they're wearing. Escort them off, and you assume that this person has been disqualified for leaving their chariot. Okay, which brings us back to Tag. Tag, we've got Rex driving these lizards. Bryn just threw some meat at the vampires, and then Sam just shot a magic missile at them. It's you.
I think you gotta either narratively come up with some reason why Tag is incapacitated, or just come up with a move for me that Tag is doing, because I'm still belly button deep in technical difficulties over here.
All right, what would Tag do right now? I feel like he'd do something dangerous.
Yeah,
There's
definitely
no
Dexy.
liquid for him to stick his head in, is there?
Yeah, are there like grates or anything in the chariot, or like anything like that? Like maybe he ducks down over the back and looks under the chariots going forward to like examine the terrain or something like that.
Yeah, Tag, you're not rolling anything right now?
I mean, I think I'm back now, but I like what we've done, let's have our team pilot Tag. I'd like to think that he would do something that at least endeavors to be beneficial to the team, and not just purely self-harming. But I am surrendering to a bit of, let my teammates play the Tag.
Roll read a bad situation. That is going to be plus lore, and you have a...
I think I'm a +2 on that, which makes this a 12.
Okay. You could ask me 3 questions of your choice. You know the gist of them, and I will accept any wording.
Okay. And what is Tag doing? He's looking at the underside of his own carriage.
You will be able to, at this point, examine anything that's on the track right now. So basically, think of it as like a tactical reading of either the arena, your opponents, or your own vehicle. You will be able to find out any weaknesses, powers of any of those things, or potentially see any upcoming events.
Oh, yeah, there could be obstacles. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything. If the track goes in any unexpected directions.
It doesn't,
meaning like it turns to lava or whatever.
Okay. It doesn't look like there's anything that crazy, but as you are looking down into the dirt that your thunder lizards are hammering through, you can see that there are slots and grooves and small openings. Maybe things will be raised or doors will be opened. So it doesn't look like the track's going to turn into lava, but it does look like there are potentially some surprises waiting for you.
Okay.
Nothing has
Tag relays this to our driver.
Okay.
Do the other two carriages have any obvious exploitable weaknesses about them?
It seems like it's an interesting way to word that. In contrast, it seems like the vampire's ghost chariot may not be susceptible to physical damage. So magic could be its weakness, but nobody's hit the chariot directly. The vampires seem to be affected by both solid and magical elements. The skeletons is made out of a bunch of bones and fused together with like black steel, but it looks very slipshod. But it does look very dense. So you presume that perhaps it is resistant to magic.
Okay. Last question. Any opportunity for a shortcut?
Oh, I suppose that you could really lean into the corners. It'll be a little bit dangerous and require a roll, but it'll give you like a buffer on your standing. So I think that in lieu of a shortcut, it will protect you from one placement switch. So let's say you like fail a roll. If you manage to do one of these shortcuts, you won't immediately drop in your standing. You'll get like a buffer.
Okay. I relay this, Tag relays this info to Rex, our driver. Our pilot.
Rex, in order to facilitate that, I don't want it to take up your turn. So in between each lap, you will have an opportunity to kind of set the course, which is going to happen right now. You all cross the finish line in first place after your first lap in this chariot race. Rex, why don't you roll a piloting roll here? This is going to be plus dex, and you get a +1 from old Taggy Poo.
Do I still have my +1 from before? Or is that
Yes.
different?
Yes. It's gonna stack because you used a whole turn to just pilot this thing. So that's gonna be your +1.
And then that is a 7.
Okay. You will be able to not move on one failure this round. You guys haven't fallen a position yet, but basically if one of you rolls a failure, your cart is going to, for whatever the narrative reason, go backwards one.
We just got another donation from Thing, and this goes to Rex for a +1.
Hey!
Thanks, Thing.
Thank you, Thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I need to use my +1s.
Yes. So your driving +1 has now been ticked off for that little roll. We're going to go first to the wizard. Second lap. Standings are you in first, skeletons in second, vampires in third.
All right. Well, do the skeletons? I'm going to not worry about our pursuers and keep a mindful eye on the track and be prepared for any new obstacles or situations that happen there and work more in a support and auxiliary fashion than direct combat for now. So I guess I am delaying once again.
Okay. Most of my moves are going to be based off of your guys' moves. So if you delay, it'll end up delaying them as well. So just know that going forward, you will actually learn less by waiting to learn more. So just factor that in on your next 2 laps. Cleric, Rex.
All right. Well, because of the information that I got from Tag, I've been taking small evasive maneuvers, when I see on the track that there's a part where it looks like something could pop out. And that's taking up most of my energy. But out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that the skeletons are starting to gain on us a little. And so I'm going to try a move that I think I tried to use last time, which I have invented, which is throwing the shield like a boomerang.
Okay.
But this time, I am aiming for the skeletons that are pulling their cart in the hopes of overturning their entire cart.
The skeleton unicorns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Sympathy from the vampire.
I'm sure that they're a pile of bones. I'm sure that if you knock them apart and scatter them, they will use magic to reassemble and still be skeleton unicorns.
Classic
Right.
skeleton unicorn rule
As
number
long as
one.
the horn stays intact.
All right. Roll it. That's going to be kick some ass. You'll be using whatever your usual attack is. I think is just strength.
Yeah. That is an 8.
Okay. So you are going to be able to hit them. It will slow them down a little bit, pushing them back into third, neck and neck in the third slot with the vampires. But it allows the vampires an opportunity to move forward and take second place. You deal, what does your shield normally deal?
2.
Okay. You do find out that this is resistant to physical damage.
Mm.
And so, sorry, no. You just fuck up a unicorn. That is the vampire's thing. Yeah, so you smash one of the unicorns, 2 of its legs fall off, and it crumbles into bones, and they keep charging forward, and you see the unicorn put itself back together in the dust behind you as one of the robed officials runs out and disqualifies the unicorn and leads it away. And it kind of kicks and on its way out, and the crowd boos it and throws their Slurpees at it.
Is there are there any unicorn skeletons in the crowd that are watching this, and are they watching with disappointment? You know, they're still you tried your best, Roger. We still love you. You know, what's the vibe from the other unicorn skeletons?
You can see Tag, as you're looking into the crowd to get a better idea of what's going on. You do see this roped off area. It's not as swanky as Slocta's VIP box, but there does seem to be a dozen different people there, almost together. And there's 8 vampires who are all sitting together holding ghost chariot signs, and there's just a couple skeletons, and then off to the side these 2 older unicorn skeletons who you think might be that unicorn skeleton's family. And they are.
How do you tell the age of a skeleton?
The bones turn yellow.
They have rings.
It's in the posture as well.
And they look like they are slowly lowering their sign and slouching down into their seats, maybe not wanting to be seen.
That's not fair. I mean that's not fair. I played a lot of sports as a kid. I didn't do very well. My dad was deeply proud of me every time. I'd love to see more unicorn skeletons take that attitude with their offspring.
I agree. I think merging the worth of the offspring to their performance in an arbitrary event is unhealthy.
You guys actually get the impression that this is a chariot race family, which prioritizes competition over most else. And so you get the impression as well that maybe it's not a very warm household, and that a lot of pressure is being put on these skeleton unicorns who are identical twins, which is why there's only one set of unicorn skeleton parents in the crowd.
I was going to ask about that.
It's kind of a Venus and Serena situation.
Oh, rough.
So there is competition, but there's also this deep-rooted love and support. And so the second unicorn, they actually move up a place back into second, because the second unicorn rallies almost to stick it to you for its sibling. And you see that the unicorn parents kind of, they notice this and they think okay, we're still in this. The family's still in this. Barbara Bryn.
What's the ground made of, you said?
It's just think of a horse track. So it's dirt, but it is kind of soft.
But you said that there was gaps?
Yeah, Tag did notice. You've seen the arena change shape and do a lot of different stuff. So you can see seams
Okay.
Once you're looking for them, you can see seams in the track where you think things might appear.
Okay. I'm going to do something with that. But at first, I'm going to look down at the guy hit with the meat. I'm just going to say, sorry about that. I'll buy you some blood wine when we're done.
That guy's actually been disqualified because Sam knocked him off.
Well,
but he's got three buds.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it to all of them. I'll just be like, drinks on me! And I'm going to climb down to the bottom of the chariot thing. Okay. And I'm going to take my Buster Sword, and I want to, like, cause some damage in the track with it as we're going.
Okay, yeah, cool. You're kind of, like, hanging off the bottom and just sticking the sword down in. I think this is just going to be a strength roll, and you'll get your +1 for using brute strength to overcome obstacles.
Okay.
Oh, but you're a vampire. I should talk about this. It is close to evening. You have a feeling that the rest, for no mechanical reasons at all, that the rest of this lap will probably be your last moment of daylight, and that the second half of this race will take place in the dark as the sun sets behind the arena. So you do get a +1, which puts your strength at 0. Because all of your stats are still currently daytime vampire style, -1.
Okay. That kind of makes me think these chariots must be going extremely slowly if we are able to experience an entire set in the course of a lap.
When you came out into the arena, the sky was this beautiful amalgamation of dark reds and oranges. It looked like one of those Fun Pop commercials because the sun was nearly setting. And so for each 6-second increment that your turns take, after those 18 seconds, boom, sun's out.
Okay.
Mark, do I have a point in the store? I can't remember if I used it.
Mark?
He's looking. He's doing something.
Looks like he's hard boiling an egg.
And having a
Merc says you're out, Lisa.
I'm out. The egg.
That's a 6.
A full fail?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So because of your round driving ability roll made by Rex, you will not drop positions. But as you jam your sword into the track, it catches into one of the seams and is yanked out of your hand, leaving you unarmed for the time being. And as you're hanging there underneath the chariot, trying to catch your balance, you are able to see under, like Tag was doing earlier, and forward, and you can see one of the seams cracking open and a figure raising onto the track. Before Tag goes, everybody gets just a moment. It looks like you would say, like, if you had to peg this woman's job, you'd say, like, maybe data analyst. They're just, like, this meek person that's kind of short, and they're wearing, like, a white lab coat and some half-moon spectacles. And you're like, what are they doing? Why would they put such a meek person on the track? And then the sun sets, and you notice a full moon rising into the night sky. And they let out a blood-curdling howl as they rip their white lab coat and change into a very large and powerful werewolf that is bearing down the track directly ahead of all 3 chariots. It should be noted, Bryn, that your stats flip to nighttime vampire mode. So you have a +3 in everything.
Great.
It should also be noted that there are 3 other vampires on the ghost chariot next to you who just got a second wind as all of their muscles bulged in their shirts, and they too might have gotten a +3 to all of their stats. Which brings us to Tag. There's a werewolf charging at you. You are still in first place.
Charging at us, you say? Okay.
Take away its credit card.
What'd you say?
She said, take away its credit card.
Can we just get a close-up on Trin enjoying this moment that she's created? I have a feeling she's feeling pretty good about that crap. Okay. I'm going to. I presume that this rogue has some rope, so I'm going to make a little kind of a lasso with it. And as we pass by this werewolf, Tag is going to try and snare her around the waist.
Okay. You're going to roll Dex, and Cleric, because you are steering, you can roll help out should he need it.
It is an 8.
Okay. You are able to get the rope around the werewolf, but in doing so, the cleric has to maneuver the cart, and your wheel bounces into the part of the track that is slowly closing behind the werewolf. Your chariot drops back into the middling, so you are now neck and neck with both chariots alongside you. But Tag, you do have a werewolf in a rope, and as you pass, they are flipped onto their back and starting to pull through the dirt behind you. What would you like to do with this werewolf?
I'd like to affix the other end of the rope to an arrow.
Okay.
And fire that arrow directly at the skeleton cart, aiming more relevant. Yeah, I think right into the skeleton cart, maybe through some skeletons. I'll just let you in on what I'm eyeing here. Is that the skeletons have holes in them. You shoot an arrow with a rope through it, that's gonna pin them in a sense.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Roll your attack, bow and arrow.
Mother. 8 again.
Okay. You do manage to pin one of the skeletons as you pull out your bow and expertly shoot it. But nothing happens yet. The skeleton is pinned to their cart, and the werewolf rope is now attached to their chariot. But the werewolf is still flipping around in the dirt, being pulled through. She looks like a beast, and so this seems to be more frustrating than painful to the werewolf. And she does seem to be righting herself, but it is taking a moment. Which brings us back around to Sam, who's going to have a chance to have a turn before the round ends.
So, as the skeleton unicorn has started to go into overdrive at its fallen siblings' disgrace in front of their strict parents, and being slightly distracted by this werewolf, so there's like sort of a divide between these skeleton charioteers. I know they're going to be really trying to make up some time on the corners, so I'm going to create a sort of like an ice shear on the track, so as they try to cut in and maybe try to pass us, that they'll create a nice ice path for them to slide like way out wide and lose a bunch of time.
Okay. You're just going to roll your, I think, ice attack, your usual old ice spell. Ice beam.
Right, that's a 12.
All right, cool. So you're going to be able to do just that. You cast it up ahead of you as you cross the finish line into the third and second to last lap, and you cover the corner in ice. You know that it is going to disrupt the skeletons, but before we go into this round and see what happens, Cleric, if you're still driving the cart, please roll us a driving roll.
I am. That is a 7.
Okay, cool. You are going to be able to buffer one missed roll, and as you go around the corner, you and the vampires whose chariot is floating deftly maneuver around this large ice swath, but the skeletons, in desperation, try and cut the corner anyways, and their cart slides out and almost flips over. They right it, but not in time, and they fall into last place.
Yes.
They are now trailing behind you and the vampire cart, who are neck and neck. They've taken note of the wizard and seen what he's done to the track. But before anybody has time to react, there is a cranking of gears underneath, and the dirt below the chariots start to shake. You can see in some of the seams ahead of you, swords that are on fire start erupting up into the track at intervals and then slicing back down, creating what is going to be a flaming sword minefield as you maneuver through. Anything that you do will have to account for those swords. So you don't have to deal with them directly, but if you fail, it may be because of the swords. Which brings us to, even though we loop back around, Sam again, who's going to start off the third lap.
All right, lap number 3. These vampires have proven that they are not to be trifled with, and so I must attempt to slow them down. So on this third lap, as we're like weaving through these different like sword, flaming sword mines, as they're like weaving over to like not get like run through, I'm going to sculpt matter, ripping up a wall of stone from the track and putting it directly in front of their chariot.
Okay. I think that's just going to be your sculpt matter roll.
Okay, that's a 9, but I think I'm going to use one of the charges from my staff to just take it up to a full success.
All right, sweet. So I think what happens is the dirt does erupt into a wall, like you said. Their dragons, which are flying to carry this floating chariot, smash into it head first, destroying the wall, but not in time. The chariot actually passes through it completely unharmed, but all 3 of the vampires still on it, slap, 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 hit this like crumbling wall and fall into the rubble as their chariot just kind of floats idly ahead and comes to a stop. It drops them into 3rd place. The skeletons have a moment to leap forward, as do you. You are now in 1st. The skeletons are in 2nd, still dragging a werewolf behind them. And the vampires are hustling to re-rope those dragons to this floating chariot and climb aboard. They've taken some serious damage, the vampires, not the chariot. And they are like a struggling NASCAR in the pit, just trying to get their shit together. But they are definitely falling behind.
All right.
That brings us to Cleric. Cleric, first we're going to need just a driving roll to make sure that you guys are cool in these swords.
I want to make a note that there is an action that Tag is taking in the chronology right now, even if we're going to get to it on his next turn.
Okay.
That is, do I have a +1 still or no? Not anymore.
No.
Okay.
You do from chat though.
Okay.
That's true.
7? Okay. So you are going to be able to not take any damage, but in order to maneuver around these swords, which are really scary because they're like the size of Brins and just on fire and it looks like magical fire, you do fall behind a little bit and come head and head with the skeletons, and you're both in the middling position now. What would you like to do for your turn?
It's also, even though they're experienced racers, I think it's also making our thunder lizards a little nervous.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They're just like erupting in these bolts of electricity that are dancing off, catching some of the swords and fucking them up so they don't actually go back down correctly.
Yeah. And they also kind of like them though, because they're very attracted to warm things. And so it's simultaneously, and they have like the memory of a goldfish. So they just see like, oh, warm. And then they start to like steer towards them. And I have to be like, no, it will hurt you.
And then there's an explosion of electricity.
And they get singed and they're, that's the sound that thunder lizards make when they've been a little singed, if anybody didn't know. And I say, Herbert, Maria, stay away from the flaming swords.
Just a second. We're going to need to hear that noise again, and then also the names that you've just given them one more time. Okay.
Herbert and Maria.
Okay.
Did you say Herbert and Maria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our thunder lizards.
Excellent names for these thunder lizards.
Yes, for these mighty, powerful, impressive beasts who crackle with lightning and look fearsome. They are Herbert and Maria.
Which makes me think someone named them Herbert and Maria. We cut back to the stands. Do we see Herbert and Maria's
There are
parents?
2 thunder lizards sitting in the stands next to the unicorn parents. And you can see that there's a definite family rivalry going on, and the thunder lizards are feeling pretty good.
I imagine them being like just very sweet, very supportive. The dad thunder lizard is wearing a cardigan and has like a frail mustache and some glasses. The mom thunder lizard is just like, "Go, sweetie!"
Very different family dynamic. These thunder lizards just are here to have fun and support their kin. The unicorn family is like, okay, we win a couple of these, it's a sure shot to get to the Olympics, and then we're looking at sponsorships. And
How close are this? How close is the skeleton cart to us physically?
Uncomfortably close. You guys are just like you're jostling next to each other.
Okay, cool. Then I think what I'm gonna do is like lift up my shield and just try and jam it really hard into like the spoke of one of their wheels.
Okay, yeah. Roll. I think just attack with strength.
That is an 8.
Okay, cool. So what you are able to do is slow them up, but you also get clipped by one of these swords, and it throws your aim. So you've kind of wedged your shield into their wheel well. You're not in the spokes, you're more in between the wheel and that, and it's spinning next to you. But what it means is, as of right now, they won't be able to get past you, but you're also kind of stuck to them. And that's when you hear this howl again, followed by like a fluff of dirt, as you see the werewolf has climbed up the rope and is pulling itself onto the back of the skeleton's cart and just coughing out some dirt. But you are now linked to their cart, having slowed them with your shield. Bryn.
So it looks like the werewolf is going after the skeletons, not us, correct?
Yeah, you guys haven't had much time to find out what the werewolf's doing, but it doesn't look happy, and it seems to be closest to the skeletons to start.
Got some nice bones to gnaw on,
That's true. If we're still close to the skeletons, I'd like to do, since I don't have my sword.
You do actually see it coming up in the tracks, stuck in the same seam that you had stuck it into. And there are 2 other swords flaming swords that are just kind of like jammed because of it. So you do see it sticking up out of the ground ahead of you.
Oh, well then I'm going to have to get my sword.
Okay, cool. This is just going to be a dex roll.
Okay.
You cannot get more than a +3, but you are at a +3 for fucking everything. So
read my mind.
enjoy it.
10.
Okay, that is a full success. With that, you are able to kick off the skeleton's cart, unwedging it from the cleric's shield, allowing you to pull forward just slightly into the first place position and lift the sword up and out of the ground as you pass it. It is very deft, very cool looking, and you swirl it around in a little flourish, shaking the dust off of it. Is there anything you'd like to do with your sword before we pass the turn?
Well, I would like to make a sweep. Am I close enough to do a sweeping attack on one of the skeletons?
Yeah, they're just... whenever anything moves around, just figure that everybody's in like racing formation. So even though you've passed them, they are like on your tail. And it's not a static positioning. There is a little bit of give and take. So yeah, for sure.
I would like to do that in very flourishy, and I just feel this need to show off in front of the vampires because they're older than me and cooler than me. So I'm doing this very showy.
Okay,
hitting the skeletons.
Is this primarily a performance? Are you trying to do something that looks cool, or are you trying to deal damage?
Well, I think dealing damage is cool. So
okay, then roll plus strength.
8, thank God. I've got this +3.
you are able to do a pretty cool trick. You smash it into the chariot that is behind you. It does not as much damage as you were hoping, but more importantly, the flourish that you put into this does get the crowd a bit riled up. Not so much the vampires, who are just looking thirstier and thirstier as every second goes by, but with this little crowd motivating bump, you feel energized, and you're going to have a +1 to your next roll. That will stack on top of your stupid +3, but only because I didn't think of it.
Okay.
Tag, we're going to you. We're putting you back a little bit in the timeline, correct?
Correct. Yes. So it was right after Sam pulled up that stone wall to smash apart the vampiric chariot. So I noticed that it was when you said that they were trying to rehook the dragons to the cart. I see that they're loose. Some vampires are trying to wrangle one back into its reins, and Tag backflips off the cart, almost as if directed by Zack Snyder. No, directed by Patty Smith. Who did Wonder Woman?
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
Backflip up. Suddenly we cut to a wide, see him in profile, arcing high through the air, in slow motion now, and he lands right in front of one of the dragons in a flourishing bow, showing the dragon the utmost respect, raises his head from the bow with the most charming, debonair wink of his roguish features, and offers a hand as if to enchant the dragon into letting him hop aboard.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is just going to be, I want to say charisma.
Great. What is that?
I'm going to tell you. It is +1.
Okay. Just 7. I'll take a 7.
Okay. You look up with this big smile on your face, and begin to try and entice this dragon. When it lurches forward and you realize that you've landed just a second too late, and they've actually harnessed these bad boys back up, and the dragon jumps forward and takes flight, hitting you below the waist and flipping you up onto its back. So you are riding the dragon, but it is currently harnessed to the vampire's cart. Bryn, as you do a flourish and try to impress the vampires, you look back to see their reaction, and you notice that they didn't notice you because they are now trying to get a hold of this rogue who's riding one of their mounts. But the crowd is appreciative. Tag, what do you want to do now that you're on this dragon?
Take out my claw-toothed daggers and sever the reins connecting me to the cart.
Okay. I think that you're going to be able to do that, but you're just going to roll plus dex to see how well you handle a freed dragon.
For a second, I thought you were going to sever the dragon's heads, and I was like, no!
No. In no universe would Tag ever intentionally do something so cruel. Especially not. That would just, he and Rex would be, no way. 12.
Okay. With a full success, you now have put a 4th token onto my little grid. Tag is now riding a solo mount and flying on top of a dragon. As we round the corner...
Breathe fire? Can you get it to breathe fire?
You know that most dragons do have breath weapons, but it is usually the element of which is usually indicated by the color of their scales. Black dragons would have been, in these older times, found on the Blight planet. And so fire probably isn't what they're spitting up, but they probably do have a breath weapon.
Yes, they do.
So Tag, you are currently in the last place bracket with the vampires. As you go into the 4th and final lap, the flaming swords drop down into the dirt, and several other hatches open up, revealing pits that just seem to fall down into darkness, creating obstacles in the track. We're going to need a driving roll from Rex to set the tone on this endeavor.
Ooh. I'm going to use one of my +1s and make that a 7.
Okay, good.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks, chat.
You will be able to negate one place-changing maneuver here on the negative as you cross into the 4th and final lap. We are now standings. You guys, 1st, 2nd, skeletons, 3rd, vampires, and tag. Vampires are moving a little bit slower.
If all of our party members, if he's in a different cart.
No, and it's weird because you definitely saw a vampire fall off of the ghost cart and get disqualified, as well as a unicorn get disqualified. But it seems like in an effort to keep your options flexible and fun, the Slokta memory is not necessarily disqualifying your more inventive tactics.
Thanks, Slokta.
You're welcome, my little adventurers.
I forgot you're getting weirder and weirder.
She sails through as almost to be like, hey! And disappears into a pocket dimension. All right. So, Wizard, Sam, start us off.
I'm going to delay. I have a secret plan that is a just-in-case contingency, and I'm going to hold on to it and keep a watchful eye on and help Rex navigate the track and Coliseum floor until then.
Okay. In the moment of indecision-ish and preparation, the vampire managed to pull forward. Is that me?
No, that was me. All right.
The vampires managed to pull forward slightly. It seems like their chariot is struggling now that it is down one of the mounts, but they inch forward into the middling slot as well. So you are still in front, but you've got 2 chariots bearing down behind you. Rex.
So, in the tumult, was I able to wrench my shield free, or is it still stuck in there?
You were able to. It was like a combination of Bryn's thing that she was doing freed your guys' cart.
Cool. Well, I think the vast majority of my attention is focused on avoiding these large pits, and so
Right.
I think it's a lot of like very strategic hindquarter scratching that I'm trying to do.
Okay. I think that if you want to roll just dex on driving and you get a full success, the pits, no matter what happens to your cart, will not factor into anything that happens to you.
Well, I have a -1 in dex, but I'm still gonna try it. Never tell me the odds.
You are getting a +1, we'll say, from Sam. Oh, it probably doesn't fucking matter. So, okay. What did you roll there?
We need to come up with something cool for the 3.
The 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what's the initial proposal for the 3 move. I'd like to see it.
That was it.
Oh.
The canopy 3. Okay.
Yeah.
You
hang
are
out
able
under
to.
the tree 3. 3 tree.
So here's what happens. You are able to have a buffer on the full failure as far as your placement in the race goes because of your driving roll. But I'm still going to take a hard move. You see that the werewolf has climbed into the driver's seat of the skeleton's chariot, and in the time that you guys have been focusing on the vampires and tag, it is now sitting there. You don't know where any of the skeletons are. It is gnawing on a bone and soloing this chariot towards you.
Yes.
And it comes up alongside you and rams into your cart. Everybody needs to roll except tag. Everybody needs to roll act under pressure.
What are we adding to this? Dex?
Dex. You got a +3 to everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 9.
8.
6.
All right, cool. So the werewolf smashes the previously skeleton chariot into yours, and everybody hangs on except for Sam, who is knocked free and flies onto the skeleton's chariot. It drops back into the middling position, stranding Sam on the chariot with the werewolf. The werewolf gets up from the bench and turns, dropping the reins, to address the Sam situation. And you can see that as it is no longer controlling the chariot, it actually drops back up another position into the last place, coming up alongside Tag, as the werewolf squares off against Sam. Bryn.
I hypnotized the wolf.
All right. Roll it.
That's a 7. That was real close.
You can tell this wolf to do one thing.
I want it to try and seduce one of the vampires in the other carriage.
Okay.
Yes! Full scene! Full scene!
Okay, so Sam, you are facing down this snarling, frothing werewoman who is about to lunge and attack you when you hear a whistle from the chariot in the front of the pack and turn to see, as does the werewoman. Bryn, how do you vampire hypnotize things?
I think I just get into his head and I suggest an idea that becomes so
We want to see
hard to
exactly
resist.
what it
We
looks
want to
like.
see exactly how you do
Yeah,
it.
put us inside the werewolf.
Bryn's head.
Yeah, so a whistle happens and Sam and the werewolf snap around to see what the commotion is, and they're looking right at you. What do you do?
I just say, okay. So much pressure. I just look at him, at the werewolf, and I'm like, you see those guys behind me? Those vampires with those long teeth? And they just look so intoxicating. They would taste so good. You just want to go over and you just want to take, a little scratch and a little bite right off their face. Because you know that that's the meaty part.
She shakes her head and turns back to Sam and says, "Hey, I need a wingman."
I'm like, you got it. I grab the reins and start steering the chariot, drifting over towards the vampire's chariot.
Okay, now that you are in control of the chariot, you are able to pull forward and up alongside the vampire's cart. The werewolf approaches the edge in kind of a dangerous way because you're both flying down this and having to dodge pits, and just says, "Hey." And the vampires, who are very distracted, trying to fix their cart after one of the dragons get taken, turn around and they look and they say, "What? What are you doing?" "We're in the middle of a chariot race. What are you doing?" And then one of the vampires in the back actually taps the shoulder of that vampire and says, "Vlad, I got this." "Nothing. What are you doing?" It's just a full moon out tonight, if you know what I mean. And Vlad turns to his friends and says, "Look, I know rules are very strict about being disqualified from race for leaving chariot, but this just feels right." And Vlad turns and leaps onto the skeleton's chariot. The vampire's chariot, without the additional Vlad weight, does pull into the first slot up alongside the main adventurer's chariot. But Sam, you are now on a chariot where a vampire and a werewolf are staring longingly into each other's eyes.
When he jumps over, I would like to jump towards where Tag is and maybe try to grab a hand while Tag is riding on this dragon so I can not get left behind.
Cool. It's not. I think you both need to roll just plus dex real quick.
Oh.
I
Oh.
got you, baby. 11 on my side. I got you.
Okay, cool.
Oh, my magic rolls have been so hot and my dex rolls have been so not hot
I
pockets.
got you, Sam. I got you.
The best setup ever.
9. All right.
9?
9.
Cool. All right. So Tag is able to grab you in midair, and in doing so, pulls up into the middling spot. Unfortunately, your leap is off, and so you slam into the dirt and are starting to be dragged behind his dragon, though he has a firm grip on you, much like the werewolf was. As you guys pull ahead, you do see that now that no one is on the reins again on the skeleton cart, it is actually coming at the next bend in a very dramatic fashion. And right before it crashes into the side of the arena and explodes, you see this werewolf and this vampire embrace. And then the whole chariot goes up in a cloud of bones and dust. And they are flung into the stands. And as you turn the corner right before they're out of view, you do see that it is a massacre, as the two of them, holding tightly to one another, are just ripping into the crowd and feasting on them, because they're monsters. All right. Tag, you are holding onto the wizard and dragging him behind your dragon. You are in the second place. Ahead of you is your party's chariot, as well as the vampire's ghost chariot. And behind you is no one, because the skeleton cart is out of the race.
Okay. So this is going to perhaps seem like I'm being silly, but this answer will, in fact, impact my move. Do there happen to be two older white dragons, maybe parents, in the stands? And what is their demeanor?
You can see that in the roped off area alongside the older skeleton unicorns and the older thunder lizards, there is just one black dragon who looks like she's going through a tough time.
Okay.
There's a lot riding on this race from more than just the success of her.
Okay, great. So I'm going to fly a little low, down kind of eye level with the thunder dragon that is still pulling the vampire's cart. And I'm going to just very affectionately, keep being physically supportive and stroking the scale mane of the dragon I'm riding as I look over and I say, she can't take this. She loses your father in a chariot race and now sees her children barreling towards the same fate. Go ahead, look at her. Look at your mom.
They do, and you can see that there are tears welling up in the older black dragon's eyes, but it seems like she's not watching the race. She's crying about something else.
You think that you need to win to uphold the legacy of your father, that's what's going to make your mother proud, happy, bring him back? It's not true. She lost the love of her life to the chariot races. Don't make her go through that again. What she wants is her family together. The race doesn't matter.
Okay. Just roll plus charisma. Let's just get a baseline for what's going on here.
8.
Okay, cool. So you can see as you finish this speech, it's happening in the wind. You're flying very fast alongside this chariot, and there's these other vampires that are up on this ghost vehicle that are like, "Can you believe that? Vlad abandoned us?" And the other guy is like, "Well, I think he's finally happy." You shout this moving monologue to the dragon next to you. You're saying this to the dragon still hooked up, or to your mount?
I'm saying this to the dragon still hooked up. I feel like there's just a bit more of an sort of instinctual bond that I have with the dragon that I'm on?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you can see that it's working. The dragon doesn't necessarily have a way to communicate to you with words, but you can see something in its posture change. But it is definitely restricted by the harness that is around it, and it doesn't have much choice but to follow the commands of whoever has the reins of that chariot if it is still hooked into the harness. But you can see that you're getting to it.
The heart is not fully there.
Right. Do you want to do anything else? It seems like you've set the stage, but while it is hooked up, it's not going to be able to do anything you want it to.
Okay. Then I think that a dragon's breath weapon is much like Chekhov's gun. When brought up in the first act, it cannot go unfired into the second. So, if I have caused a bit of introspection in the currently chained dragon, Mildred, I think that I have, with that intuitive, instinctual, physical connection, galvanized a lot more support in the dragon that I'm riding, Gog. And so I'm gonna just whisper into Gog's ear. I can see it. There are 2 Christmases ahead of us. One, Mildred, Gog, your mother, sitting around sipping hot cocoa with a sprig of cinnamon and just a hint of cayenne, because you're naughty dragons. Looking at a photo of your father over the mantelpiece, his stocking still hung up, laughing at the memories that you shared, loving that he gave you something that all right, I could just go on this forever. I'll stop talking my shit about dragons. Yeah, and so it ultimately is going to culminate by me saying, Gog, I know you're with me. Let's set your family free. And I'll just Tag rides Gog high up in an arc, spinning around, kind of coming 90 degrees with the cart. And Tag just gives a little flick of the wrist, which I think cues this mysterious breath weapon.
Yeah. With this,
The
there's
target is the chariot itself. The vampire's on the chariot.
Sure. Yeah, just roll. Just roll just to give me an idea of how to flavor this. Is it going to be plus dex because it's more about the maneuver of the dragon. The dragon can just do the breath weapon. It's a natural ability.
7.
Cool. You are able to do everything that you just said, and in it, the dragon starts to dry heave. And in this cool arc that you're doing, almost perfectly above, you expect there to just be this really elegant attack that happens. But instead, nothing happens as the dragon just keeps dry heaving to the point where you get back down alongside the cart. And you're a little worried, and you try and do the flick of the wrist again, but then surprising you, and you think Gog as well, it just explodes in this fountain of vomit and bile that just blasts all over the track. And in the frantic spray, it whips its head across and just covers all of the chains and the entire ghost chariot in this disgusting bile vomit. And you're a little worried at first. And then everything that the bile has touched starts smoking and disintegrating. As you can see that it is actually a very corrosive acid that is just sprayed everywhere. In their fear, the vampires yank the reins to try and maneuver, but the harness snaps as the acid works through the binds, and the ghost chariot veers off and floats rather slowly and strangely down into one of the pits. And it takes kind of a while. So you just hear both vampires who are still on the chariot go, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh, we're falling really slow. But there's something horrible at the bottom of this pit. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! We can't do anything to stop. But we're falling so slowly. Damn this ghost. chariot! And then there's like some silence. And then you hear, seriously, this is a really deep pit. But we're falling slow enough that we have plenty of time to realize how horrible it's going to be when we fall. My compatriot Victor just cast light, and we can see at the bottom of the pit there seems to be some flesh eating. Oh yes, definitely some flesh eating world. Oh shit! And you guys start to pull away. And, oh shit! Something hit the works. Yeah. And the vampires are removed from the race, which allows you to cruise past the finish line in first, being the only chariot still on the track. And the crowd goes fucking insane. You see Slokta stand up and again offer this very subdued and disappointed golf clap. Off her cue, there is a very large skeleton orchestra on the top row of the arena stadium, where you can see that the dude who's been doing the giant gong is just going fucking nuts on that thing, and everybody kind of picks up, and it's this very crazy, like, Gogol Bordello. There's like a person on like a bone accordion going nuts, as the crowd is just like screaming, "What's your guys' team name?" The Danny DeVito actually comes out. He raises up on a platform, sees that the race is over, keeping his distance from Bryn. Does in fact ask you, "Hey, I didn't expect you to make it this long, but I kind of gotta know now. What's your team name?"
Team Snacks.
He goes over and grabs Tag's hand as you climb off of the dragon, who you can see fly over to meet its sibling that is in the stands, having been freed from the binds, and they are now huddled around their mother dragon. And we actually punch in for just a moment, and you can hear them saying, "Mom, we're sorry. We shouldn't have gone to the chariot races. We're so sorry." But it's like dragon talk, so it's in subtitles. And she says,
"Sorry, how does that sound though?"
It sounds really horrible, but you can see very like hallmarky, like, "We always loved you. We only chariot raced to honor Dad's memory, but it was a mistake, and that rogue showed us the light, and so now we'll never chariot race again." And the mother says, like, that warms my heart, but I fear we will have trouble making rent this month." And then we cut back out to you guys, and Danny DeVito raises Tag's hand into the air.
Team Void Jumpers, you know?
Okay. He raises Tag's hand into the air and says, "Hey, your winner, Team Void Jumper!" And the crowd is now like, "Void Jumpers, Void Jumpers, Void Jumpers!" And you're escorted back over to the little raising and lowering platform, which you've been on before.
I wondered if she might have a gambling problem, if that was indeed the source of fears.
Who's we'll let Merc decide in her next fan fiction, okay?
What's the reunion like for the other families that we've met today?
Vampires are all pretty cool. You know, just like kind of like hey, you tried your hardest.
I'm really thinking
that
of the Thunder Lizards and the Skeleton Unicorns. Yeah.
Thunder Lizards actually rushed the track and hop over, and they're so proud of your guys' little Thunder Lizard performance. The Skeleton Unicorns aren't even there anymore. They left during the fourth lap. And so their remaining child unicorn is just kind of wandering around, like, looking for them.
That's awful.
Yep. And so that is the last thing you see, is this wandering, moping skeleton unicorn looking for her parents, who never had any respect or support for her anyway, as your platform starts to lower down and you hear, "Void Jumpers, Void Jumpers," and you're lowered back down into the warehouse. You can see that a lot of stuff is being cleared out now. it seems that things didn't go quite as planned, and some people are just trying to get some supplies organized and brought out early. There's just like a bunch of metal, like metal bars in tic-tac-toe grids that look like they could all fasten together. A bunch of folding chairs, some big crystal spotlights. Like people are just bringing all this crazy stuff towards there, and they look kind of confused. And Danny DeVito says, "Hey, don't worry about them. I'm going to escort you back to the green room. We got to set up for round 3. I don't think they expected it to go past the second round tonight, so we're just kind of getting it together. The returning champ should be here soon, and we can get things going."
I want to tap him on the shoulder and just say, "Hey, are you feeling better?"
And he looks at you and very pointedly says, "Why do you ask?"
I'm just concerned. I want to make sure you're okay.
"Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. I tried to get out of my shift, but they're making me stay because nobody wants to manage you guys because they're worried you're going to suck their blood. So,
You told people about that? That was
Yeah.
private.
I'm sorry. What?"
Private. That was private.
And these are like some social rules that I should be aware of, that whenever somebody tries to suck your blood, it's private. You did it in front of all your friends.
Well, no, we went over in the corner.
Okay, listen, lady, I'm getting some weird vibes from you. I feel like maybe you're kind of into me, but also maybe
I'm not into you. I feel oddly bonded to you.
that's the weird vibe I'm getting. You see, you say one thing
It
and
is
then
weird. It is weird. Look. It is weird. I just want to make sure you're okay. That's it. We cool?
No, absolutely not. And I'm not okay.
Okay.
I'm going to keep doing my job because I'm a professional, okay? And as he says that, he opens the door to the green room and kind of gestures for you all to go inside. I'm going to do that because this is my job, okay? And I don't got a choice. But no, we're not cool.
All right. Suppose I understand.
And I turn to Bryn and I say, "You assaulted him."
But I was under a curse. Wasn't my fault.
Lady,
Still
this is
allowed
the Blight
to tell
Planet.
people.
There's a lot of people under curses, okay? That other team, 4 vampires on that ghost chariot, not one of them bit me. In fact, Vlad, I was just out with him last night, being a shoulder for him to cry on. He's been lonely.
Did you wear shorts?
I'm sorry, are you blaming him for having tasty looking calves?
I mean,
Isn't Vlad currently massacring the entire crowd?
It was like rows G8 through G11. And
I just don't feel like you should be holding up Vlad as an example of a really civil, non-violent vampire.
yeah, thanks, Tag.
You're welcome.
okay, yeah, you know, I'm a little biased because Vlad and I were like this. We go way back. I knew him before he was. But yeah, you're right. You know,
Are they still killing people out there? What's the deal? Has someone stopped that?
I think it's probably under control by now. When I left, they were still in the midst of. They had to go get several crosses and some silver, but I think now they've got it under control. Yeah, by my estimates, they probably have it all under control. Yeah.
Okay, we cut to the locker room with the werewolf restrained, in shackles. There's a bunch of people around holding her. So, you've been training for this night for a long time. I think it would be fair to say it didn't quite go like anyone expected. What happened between what you've been preparing for and what ended up occurring?
Can I ask you a question?
Unconventional, sure.
Do you believe in serendipity?
Yeah, why not? I haven't had experiences with it myself, but I'm open to it.
I feel like I'm alive for the first time. And when I get out of here, I know that I'm going to have to tell Vlad that when the moon sets, I'm just going to be a meek data analyst again. But we have a connection that I feel is more than physical. And so if there's anybody who's going to want to be there when I get home from balancing Slokta's money laundering operation, I feel like it's Vlad because he's in the live.
We cut to Vlad. He's in a confessional booth a la The Bachelor. So, Vlad, seemed like there were some sparks flying between you and the werewolf there. Do you think that that's going to have a life past the arena?
Well, I could tell you it was a very physical attraction. I don't want to speak too soon, but it, if I'm in love.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. Are you looking to stick it out in the long run, make a commitment to this wolf woman?
Yes. I feel that her stature, her size, the fur, all of that, it is very erotic.
And the lights slowly fade. We go to a cutaway of a single rose, a petal falls off, and we cut back to Dana DeVito.
Yeah, so as I was saying, the returning champions are going to be here any minute. We're getting the arena set up now. I'm going to go. Just give you some time. Yeah. What?
Bye.
What?
Bye.
Oh, you're dismissing me. Sorry, I thought maybe you were like trying a half-hearted blaming apology. Okay, cool. And he just throws up his hands and backs out of the room. And from behind you, you hear, and you turn to see Slokta's ghost, and she's trying to clap, but her hands are just going through each other. And she says, "Oh, how wonderful. You've made it to the final test. I didn't think you had it in you. How are you feeling?"
Fine.
Great.
Better before you asked us that question in that weird way.
Oh. Well, you will be going up against the returning champions, the last group of adventurers who were able to complete the entire arena. They say they're the first ones to have done it in hundreds of years. Personally, I'd never thought it was possible. I'd just been throwing people to the wolves, essentially, and sometimes quite literally.
Wait.
Question.
So, if these are the returning champions who successfully completed the arena, if we are to successfully defeat them, does that lock us into some sort of returning champion contract?
I don't know.
Well, we're trying to get
If
to
you don't
Ezra
know,
Capio.
who does know?
Well, I suppose after you win, you will.
Well, no, we don't want to just be trapped in your memory forever facing future adventurers. We need to find Ezra Capio. He's doing something with this planet's energy that's, I think, pretty dangerous.
Look, you wouldn't be trapped in my memory forever. Obviously, I'll uphold the bargain. You'll move on to the next test after this one, and you'll no longer be at the arena, and you'll be able to pursue Ezra Capio to your heart's content. However, if another group of adventurers comes to try my trials and gets to the arena and makes it to the third round, I may have to summon you through a dimensional door back in to defend your title. But honestly, 2-3 hours tops every what? Like 50 years? Come on.
Does it summon us as we are then or as we are now?
Interesting question. I don't know. It's never happened. Ezra Capio found a different way through the arena trials. He wasn't much for the excitement. Most everything he found unexpected ways through. So, unless you do the same, you might be on the hook. But like I said, I don't know.
That's intriguing.
Well, I plan to be a very strong old lady, so I'm not worried about that piece of it.
That's what I thought too.
Okay,
and now I'm
so
a ghost.
What's your challenge?
Oh, well, I'll give you the opportunity to shop at the ghost market, but I won't be able to tell you anything about the upcoming challenge other than you will be facing off against the previous champions. And they must have been tough cookies because they've accomplished everything that you have. These would have been the original, by the way. Thousands of years ago when I was still a striking, gorgeous, living female. Not some freaking ghost.
Are we playing a guessing game right now? You keep hinting at these previous champions like you want us to identify them.
Oh, no. You wouldn't know them. They're just going to be really strong and probably going to kick your ass.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Well, I'm pretty sure you rolled 3 failures during that last chariot race, which would have put you up to the hard difficulty.
I feel like it's going to be us or something. Like, I feel like there's some weird time loop stuff happening. We're going to, like, face off against...
Or maybe it's all our parents.
That'd be great. I could finally meet them.
Look, from one immortal necromancer's ghost to one group of adventurers, I'll just say this. Your dungeon master truly wished he would have thought of any of those options that you had just spitballed. But I just want to realign everybody's expectations before we move into the final test that he didn't think of any of those options. So sorry. Anybody want to buy anything from the ghost market?
No, but we should maybe discuss your corporeal bias.
What do you mean?
You've been saying some very disparaging things about yourself and blaming it on you being a poltergeist, and that just seems unfair.
And what, you're saying that it wouldn't be my corporeal experience and it would just be my personality?
Yeah.
That's very rude.
Well, it's the way you treat yourself. It's you being rude to yourself. You know, you should accept yourself for who you are instead of using it as an excuse to treat yourself poorly.
There must be perks to being a ghost.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like in all your relationships, I'm sure there's a ton of transparency.
Wow.
Can you
I
feel
extra
anything?
appreciate that one.
Casey Jackson, everybody. Casey Jackson.
Relationship jokes.
I'm sorry. Did the warrior just ask me if I feel anything? What do you think? Have I been devoid of emotion? Have I been uninterested? Wouldn't you say that I desire a certain outcome? That I'm tilting the board in my favor? That I'm invested?
No, I meant like, can you touch other ghosts?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You can't, or you can?
I can't. No, we just go through each other. I'm not
So-
even really here.
So we have a donation. The robot voice isn't working, but Merkworky has donated $125. Hashtag howl. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Holy shit.
I want to hear a Mark
Let's
howl.
more that love story.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's hear that howl, Mark.
Ow!
That's a great howl.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. That
Thank
is
you, Mark.
freaking nuts.
Um,
We hope to do you proud.
I'm okay. The werewolf thing threw me off. So look, you just have a short amount of time before you're going to be expected to be back in the arena. I can't give you any hints. I can only offer you items. You now have an opportunity I have to do Danny DeVito. You realize now that I'm having to do Danny DeVito's job because you scared him away when you tried to suck his blood.
Well, I didn't try. I actually did it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's defeated. She's nothing if committed.
Okay, yes, obviously she did, which is why I'm having to do his job now. You have a short amount of time before the third trial begins. And if you'd like to buy anything or use any of your abilities, or did anybody level up?
Oh. I only failed once, so no.
Do I get to keep my nifty octopus shoes?
Yes, they last until you use them. So this young man also has the continuum grenade as well. And she pops out 2 little Jolly Ranchers, puts them back in her mouth. Yum, yum. If you'd like to use any abilities, any items, or purchase any more, now is the only chance before you enter into the arena and you complete your final task one way or another.
Do we have health potions in our bank tag?
I can tell.
Tag is no longer with a computer, so tag is going.
Oh.
No information.
Yes.
But I did put it in the shared sheet.
Yes. Yeah.
You have a napalm grenade, poison, a holy grenade, and anything that you all might have on your own.
So the dagger.
The cursed blade,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, cursed blade.
Oh yeah, we don't even know what that does.
You do have 1 healing potion.
Okay.
Well, if we have any money, then I can re-up my spells. But I believe right now I am currently out of spells.
I have not 9 gold.
You got $18. Go crazy, girl.
Didn't we have
I-
another spell crystal? We had 2 spell crystals, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
we used 1,
You have 1 spell crystal left.
so that'll recharge 2 of your spells right there if you want to do that.
Sure.
Okay. You're welcome to buy another if you'd like, if you need it.
I mean, I can only have 2 spells, I think. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to do before the next challenge starts?
Get a drink of water.
You're allowed to do that. Yeah, let's actually take a 2-minute break since we got our
Give us
cleric
a-
on the loose.
Before we go into the break, just lead us into like a end of the episode cliffhanger before the commercial break kind of moment.
Okay.
Wait, I have to hear this part.
Yes. Okay. Danny DeVito comes back to your green room, knocks, and then opens the door without waiting for anybody to say anything and says, "All right, let's go. We got to go. That's
Come
happening."
in.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. And he leads you back to the staging warehouse. This time it is quiet, and there are only a few stewards who are making preparations. You see just a few more folding chairs, 1 more crystal spotlight. And the platform which previously held your chariot is empty. You climb up, and deep within the bowels of the ancient structure, machinery rumbles back to life, and the platform raises once more up into the arena. You're not sure what you expected to find for the third and final challenge,
Ourselves from the future or the past.
but it wasn't that. The night sky is split by crystal spotlights. The racetrack is gone. Instead, dominating the center of the arena, there is a large square platform covered by a towering iron cage. Slokta views your entrance from her VIP box. A skeleton raises a megaphone to her lips, and she says, "Greetings, challengers." This announcement is met by a fresh roar from the crowd as they chant "Void Jumpers" over and over again. Welcome to the Royal Rumble. Now the crowd goes insane. A cage door swings open, beckoning you up into the ring, and you notice that there are indeed elastic tethers around each and big padded poles at the corners. Music thunders from the skeleton orchestra, an up-tempo funky beat. And as you stand in the ring looking out, 4 adventurers rise from the floor across from you.
Who look much like ourselves?
No!
It's Hulk Hogan.
Slogta
Mothman.
shouts into the megaphone and says, "Allow me to introduce to you the reigning arena champs. The Murder Squad!" And with an absolute swagger, the Murder Squad enters the arena. Commercial break.
Dang it.
2 minutes.
Her name's Rex because she wrecks hearts and bodies.
She says, "Hey, welcome back. Come on in."
Hey, you look clean.
Thank you.
That's a really cool harpoon gun. Did you make that yourself?
I did actually, yeah.
I think to accurately describe it would turn the stomachs of some of our listeners, but I'm going to attempt to do so anyway.
Right.
And I say, I don't know any magic, but I used to fry ants back on my planet with this guy.
You're a sadist.
Okay, welcome back, y'all. You've just seen the floor raise up 4 challengers to the arena. They are approaching in a backlit way, so you can't see their faces. At this moment, Danny DeVito is just kind of like turning around. He's like, "All right, good luck, you know."
Mr. DeVito.
Yeah.
Look, I know that there's been some rough patches here, but I mean, you're clearly familiar with these reigning champs of Murder Squad, or you made some money on us before. Are you still betting on us this one, or?
Oh. Yeah. Big time. Big time.
Okay, clearly you're not. You're, I think, a better liar than that, but seemed like you wanted me to know that you weren't telling the truth. Give it to me straight. What are the odds? What are the odds against us right now? What's it going for?
I mean, I've seen what you guys can do, and you're good, but they're better.
What? I mean, how much better? What did they got us at? Like 4-1? I mean, what's the over/under right now? What's the bet?
What's a good betting over/under?
Are we close dogs? Are we big dogs? How big of dogs does he think we are?
Oh, I think you guys are a Chihuahua Beanie Baby
All right,
right
so
now.
it'd be like plus 5,000 or something like that, and they'd be like negative like 2,000.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Danny, I'll take those odds. I give him the 18 gold that I have, and I say, put a bet on us.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Mark that down. Tag. In some fashion.
I'd like to also get in on that. We should put all our gold on it, because if we die, we're not going to need it, and if we win, you know.
Okay. Yeah. How much gold you guys got total?
I have 9.
I got
And then how much did we have from the treasure chest? It was like another 20.
18, I think. That's what he said, right?
Oh,
I think that's what the 18 is coming from.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
So we're looking at like 27 gold.
Yeah, it seems to be about to turn into more gold than we could possibly spend for the rest of this stream.
We'll see.
If we win. You know, who knows? Jesse's got hard moves.
I know it could be ghost gold, like it doesn't exist outside of our interactions with Slokta.
No, the gold's been traveling back to at least the Blight Planet. So when you guys leave a memory, the gold, the items that you have track. Slokta, the ghost Slokta, appears and the memory around you slows. And Slokta addresses Danny DeVito, who snaps back to regular time, and she's like, "Okay, Danny DeVito, get out of here. You're really bad at betting improv. Goodbye." And he takes the gold and he goes to do your thing. And Slokta says, "All right, look. I just want you to know that I hear you, okay? I hear you. I hear you. I'm here for you. Seriously, though. You win, you get the trophy. That's what I want. Your dungeon master forgot to make a note of the trophy in the exposition leading up to this before the commercial break. Get me the trophy. But remember, I hear you, okay? I'm here for you."
What is Slokta saying?
And then Slokta disappears. And you see the challengers.
What's so special about the trophy?
I just want it. And you see your challengers. One of the gates on the cage that's over this wrestling ring swings open, and the challengers step into light for the first
Oh my
time.
god! And it's us!
And it's all of you. The first thing that you notice is that their necklaces, they are wearing some that look very familiar to yours, but all of the colors on them are drastically different. You see Sam. He's wearing a leather jacket with spikes on the shoulders and a big Liberty Spike mohawk. The memory freezes and Slokta flies back over to you and she says, "I hear you, man. I'm with you." And then disappears again. All right, so Sam's in a spiked leather jacket, and we'll call him Evil Sam, just for simplicity's sake. And has a big Liberty Spike mohawk. He's wielding an electric guitar, and he strikes a power chord, and the thing freezes again, and above him you see Bard.
Awesome.
Next up steps Bryn, a vampire in defiled priest's robes, wearing 2 sets of spiked brass knuckles. And it freezes and says, Necromancer. Next up walks a figure very much in the size and shape of Rex, or at least the suit of armor that she would be wearing. It is, however, empty, and you can see that there is a golem set of armor. And you can, Rex, what does your hair look like?
It's a really long braid. It's 2 really long braids.
You can clearly see that, much like a Spartan's helmet, there is this like mane that has been attached to it, and it is very clearly your hair. And it is holding a very large shield, a tower shield that's almost as large as the suit of armor, and a morning star on a chain. Kind of like Sauron's from the beginning of Fellowship. And it freezes and says, Evil Paladin! And the final shape to walk up is Tag. He is wearing all black. He seems to be wreathed in shadows. And he holds up a bandana and ties it over his eyes. When his hands return to his waist, you can see that there is a katana that is attached at his hip. And despite the inaccuracy of the weapon and archetype pairing, when the screen freezes, it does say, Ninja! And in front of you are the 4 bosses of this test. Yourselves wearing
My
different...
greatest enemy was myself all along.
Rex, we all knew that.
So Tag looks across at all of them and says, I know that we have to fight. But first I want to have an incredibly detailed conversation about how you came to be here. Your path through time, through life itself.
And the other Tag turns to face you, though he cannot see you because he's wrapped a bandana over his eyes. And in your brain, he says, Hey, look, man, I know that this joke you're making is cover because you're worried that maybe I was also a design of the Malice's attempt to take over the universe, and that if I best you, I'll be able to take your place and succeed. And in doing so, destroy all of your friends and corrupt the summoner. And so I get it. You're putting on a tough guy face.
All right, put your bandana on, okay? You're thematically incongruous, so take that to the bank and cash it for $0 because it's worthless.
I thought this is what you wanted, man.
Put your bandana on, me.
It's on. It's over my eyes.
Good. And I kick him in the knee.
Roll kick some ass.
12.
Okay.
Natural.
With a full success, you do hit the ninja. He has no armor and takes an unarmed strikes damage, which is 1. Which brings us to the top of the order. We're going to be starting with Wizard Sam, not to be confused with Evil Sam.
Let's I think that this is cool. Should we and perhaps this will happen organically, but I wonder if the impetus is on us. Jesse, you'll obviously need to do the mechanics, but if we should be playing our evil cohorts in terms of narrative and flavor.
No, absolutely not.
I think we should.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe just set us up for those.
Okay.
moments.
Anytime I need you to do the speeching, I'll let you know. Okay. So you are in a large ring covered by a metal cage. The doors have all closed and locked around you. A ref was starting to approach the center of the ring when Tag kicked Evil Tag. And then you heard a bell ding, and the ref was like, go, go! And like gets let out of the cage. Inside, there are several folding chairs that are leaning against the side of the cage. But otherwise, you're just in this huge arena now, and you're actually, you're surrounded by these people who are chanting void jumpers, and you're facing off against yourselves. So, regular Sam, you're up first.
So they've all struck their poses. They're doing the thing, and Tag kicks other Tag in the knee, and like kind of springs away. And as soon as he's like, the bell rings, he's like, go. Sam just fireballs them while they're all in a group. Just straight up. And that's a 12. And I will use the AoE effect so that 3 of them take 5 harm.
Wait, if we kill them, do we die?
I don't know, Rex. What do you think?
No, because Tag kicked one in the knee and it didn't affect him, which is why I feel confident that we are not connected. If there had been a shadow connection, it would have happened. Tag brilliantly already sussed that out.
Okay.
Unless they're blinded, in which case they take 6 apiece.
They are not. Who do you not want to hit?
Rex.
Okay.
Bryn hypnotized me, and Tag's already wounded, and fuck Evil Sam. You made me say nice stuff about Puck. Don't think I'm ever going to forget that.
That's petty. Petty, petty, petty.
Okay, so Sam launches a fireball which explodes into the center of the group. Evil Rex puts the shield up and completely blocks the flame, taking no damage. This does not seem to be, just to be clear, this is not because of her armor. This is just because Sam chose not to hit you. So don't let this affect how you fight these enemies. Each of them is special. But the fire curls around your shield. It does hit everybody else. They all seem to be wearing some pretty high-level gear, so they do not take full damage. The Bard and the Necromancer both only take 3 harm. The Ninja, however, does take full damage.
Singed.
And he is
Sinja.
now
He's a Sinja.
he's a Sinja, and his pants have actually burned off.
Of course.
At that moment, Evil
Well,
Rex drops
that
the
is some
shield.
great away art for Tag. That is some great art for away Tag.
Evil Rex drops her shield, and you hear a disembodied voice come from the hollow armor and make an announcement to the team in regards to strategy. And Evil Rex says,
Go for the skinny one.
Okay. It is now your turn, regular Rex.
I point to Bryn. No, she's buff right now. Crap. They do mean me.
And I'm Rex. Real Rex is taken aback because this suit of armor more fits with Rex's idea of what she can envision herself in that suit of armor, and it's very disorienting to think about trying to attack for what all intents and purposes look like the Halloween versions of her friends. And so I think the instinct is, rather than attack her friends, it's just to try and attack herself. So I'm going to pick up my shield and try and smash through other wrecks.
Okay. Are you attacking or trying to just like get through?
I'm
basically
using
like
my shield bash ability.
Got it. All right,
Yeah.
roll it up.
Oh no.
Yes, tell me more.
Wait, hang on. I have a +2 strength. And my shield bash is a +1.
Plus
so
from
that
chat.
gets me to 6.
Plus chat. You have +1 in chat.
So with one of my other +1s from chat, my 3 is now a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
You
chat.
charge Evil Rex, who squares off against you and is in no way threatened, and drops the bottom of her shield into the ring. And how much damage does your shield bash do? 2. Okay. You collide with the giant shield and deal 0 damage, because this is a giant suit of armor that has a lot of armor. And you clang off when
It's more
Yeah.
of a boing.
when the shield moves. You see that there is actually a morning star smashing down towards you, and it does 4 harm,
Oh god.
physical.
Okay, does my shield take 2 of that?
Yes.
Okay.
These characters will all do, their armor and their weapons are all specifically slotted to either deal magic or physical, and I will let you know if there is both.
And I become unstable at 3 hit points, is that right?
So here's what's up with you, Rex. You're down 1 of your max. So after
know.
you take 2 damage, you are unstable. Because when you are at 4 harm, you are unstable.
Are you sure it wasn't 3? I feel like it was 3.
Ugh. Are you unstable?
Yes.
Okay. You are flung backwards and land face down in the dirt, and you lose consciousness for a moment, disorienting you. Bryn, what's up?
Oh. Okay. I see this. I was very freaked out by this whole thing. I don't want to see dark me because I know where my thoughts can go, and I know they can go fucked up. So I am going to go after Bad Rex with my Buster Sword, and I'm going to do a big ass Buster because it's a big ass knight or whatever she is.
She is quite large. It's like this giant enchanted suit of armor.
Yes, to get an extra +1.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 12.
Okay. How much damage do you deal?
4.
Okay. 1 harm makes it through the paladin's armor.
Wow.
And
We gotta find a way to throw the paladin just out of the ring so that she can't get back in, I think is the answer here, y'all. So someone build a catapult real quick.
it's why I wanted to be clear about the effect from the fireball earlier, that had nothing to do with the paladin's ability and only Sam's aim. So all you've seen hit the paladin has been physical attacks, and they've barely gotten through. The paladin staggers back. You actually smash its shield into itself, and it returns to deal a blow with the Morning Star, dealing 4 harm. Now, this is a fight in which we're going to use mechanics we don't often get into. With a full success on Kick Some Ass, you are able to do a couple of additional things, like take less harm, deal extra harm.
Plus,
Hey,
I leveled up and had that, like, retaliate hit if somebody hits me.
Right.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I think this actually would stack. It would not be like an endless loop of smack, 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 smack. But because most of your attacks are just like punching people harder, I think when there is a retaliatory blow on a kick some ass, you will then deal another attack. It will just come in at whatever your previous attack was. So what do you want to do? You want to take less damage, deal more damage, or give your friends some help?
Rex is not doing so hot, right?
No. She's got fucked up.
I'm going to help her because my damage isn't doing very much to bad Rex. So
Okay.
I would rather use that time to help Rex.
Rex, you're going to have a +1 on your next attack. Bryn, you deal a second attack. Again, it clangs off the armor and only one harm gets through. But you have staggered this big lumbering suit of armor back a little bit.
And
The crowd has quieted in their confusion and is no longer chanting void jumpers and is unsure of who to be chanting for. And regular Supreme Ruler Slakta up in the VIP box says, she grabs the megaphone out of the skeleton's hand and says, "The reigning champions! Cheer for the reigning champions!" And then the crowd heats back up with some assistance from the drums and starts chanting, "Evil void jumpers! Evil void jumpers!"
I thought they were called Murder Squad.
Not anymore.
Slakta heard us.
Tag.
All right. Please forgive me. I shorted out for the whole first round.
Okay. We've seen
Last
no
I saw,
physical damage.
Sam threw a fireball.
Okay. Sam threw a fireball, dealt a considerable amount, singeing Ninja Tag, Evil Tag. Ninja Tag looks... Sinja, and his pants got burnt off. Evil Tag is by far the most injured out of everybody. The other, Evil Bryn and Evil Sam, took some damage. They both look like they are hurt, but their armor deflected it. And you've seen this giant haunted suit of armor get pummeled by both Rex and Bryn and barely get a scratch.
Will you tell me what the continuum grenade does again?
It does everything that the spell Cleanse does with an additional 2 damage. Which, in this instance, because we already addressed it, these are not blighted enemies. So it only deals harm to blighted enemies or cures blight sickness. It is a rather specific.
And that's also what the holy grenade is?
Yeah.
All right, then what does the napalm grenade do?
That acts like fireball, which you just saw be very good. So you're going to roll plus dex to attack. And then it will follow the same rules of Sam's fireball, which I have up, which are... Hold that thought.
That's okay.
It's an AoE that does 5 harm distributed amongst at least 2 enemies. So you would be able to break up that 5 harm. Unless you get a full success, it does full harm to 3 enemies.
Okay. So here's what Tag does. Tag runs right at the paladin, slides on his knees through her legs, spins up behind, pulls down on the back of her braids, lifting up her head. So her little... Is she dressed as a... It's a suit of armor, right?
Full face. Yeah, when you pull it up, you can actually see that there's no one inside the armor.
Perfect. So yanking on that, pulls the head back, the faceplate up, and just drops the napalm grenade right into the suit of armor, lets go of the braids, and kicks her in the back towards her buddies.
Okay. Roll kicks. Actually, just roll plus dex because that's how this item works.
10.
Okay. So I'm going to say that because you
distributed as you would.
Yeah, because you drop this into a hollow suit of armor, the damage is not going to be AoE. It is going to be confined to just her. But with a full success, I'm going to allow you to not take a retaliatory blow. And you see that inside the armor, it explodes and swells and starts to smoke. And the suit of armor takes the full damage. And it does not look very good at all. You would say that it might be on its last legs. All of the pieces are disjointed and it's having trouble moving. It looks like some of the joints have fused together. Tag, you are, however, in the midst of all the enemies now. And it brings us back to Sam.
Sam is going to throw a lightning bolt, very much going to channel it into the armor, and then I'm going to overcharge it with my crystal in an attempt to chain lightning it into the other members of the party.
Okay.
All right, so that's a 9. I am going to use the third charge from my staff to pump it up.
You may have a point in the store, Casey, that would, because you only need 1 point.
No. To get the AoE, I need a. To
take it from a 9 to a 10. What's up?
It's just Rex and Tag have points.
Okay. Well, we can help him out with pop him one more, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Casey. Now I'm slowing you down. You keep going. You use a spell charge.
I don't think it's enough to put me up into the next bracket. So it's just a full charge on the suit of armor.
Cool.
Sure. It is the final charge on the staff.
No, just a regular lightning bolt. I don't think I can. Does it bump me all the way up to the thing?
Yeah, it bumps you up a bracket. They're just expensive, the charges, so I wanted them to be worthwhile. So you would be either be moving from a failure to a partial or partial to a success.
All right, I'll do that so I can try to chain this lightning together.
All right, cool. So the suit of armor explodes. And the pieces go everywhere, and the crowd goes wild. The lightning arcs out. Who do you not want to hit?
Who do I not want to hit? This time, it's not going to be... let's see. Well, I definitely am going to hit Tag because he was vulnerable to magic the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, because evil me is a butthead.
Okay. So it does 3 harm versus humans, and you're all humans. There's not going to be a fucking reveal. But people are packing armor, so the ninja takes full damage, and is still looking pretty crispy. And the bard does not take full damage. In fact, a lot of the lightning glances off of them, and they only take 1 harm.
Yeah. Yep.
Rex, you climb up to your feet and shake your head, and you're seeing stars and a little disoriented. But you have a +1 from Barbara Bryn. What would you like to do?
I think in my disoriented state, I'm gonna kind of hazily focus on one of the folding chairs that I see in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna think back to like the old vids that my dad used to show me of like people in funny costumes attacking each other. And I'm gonna pick up one of the chairs and swing it really hard at Evil Bryn.
Okay. You're going to roll kick some ass. The chair is a special weapon that does 3 harm. Theatrical.
Yeah.
I thought it might. That is a 10.
Okay. So you wall up the Necromancer and deal 3 harm, physical, but she is wearing some really enchanted, though shitty looking, defiled priest robes that absorb 1 of the harm. She rears back, bares her teeth, and lunges at you. You're going to roll plus strength.
I have an idea for what I'm going to do if it's a success. Haha! 13.
Okay. Do you have something special in mind? I don't want to rob you of this opportunity.
I don't know what it's called, but it's when someone just jumps up in the air and kicks their legs out, like their whole body goes prone.
My favorite move.
Drop.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop kick her.
Yeah.
She is trying to grapple you and gets pummeled by this drop kick. You hit the springy mat, and she flies backwards into the ropes and bounces off and is now coming towards regular Bryn. Bryn.
Are they gonna make out, the two?
I don't
together?
know.
I feel like they would be attracted to each other.
That's kind of like an insult, I think. As far as vanity goes.
Yeah. I think I'm more. Wait, is she like rushing me?
Yeah. And she's also really hot.
Just like, I'm just like, look.
She just
Maybe
did
in
one of
another
the
universe we'd be friends, but we're not. So I put my arm out so I can throat chop her when she runs by.
Okay. Roll plus dex.
12.
Okay.
No, 13.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you throat chopper, and she flips over backwards and lands onto the mat. It deals no damage, but it will also not count as your turn. What would you like to do, Bryn?
I would like to, because I don't trust her, and I don't think she has this one thing that I have, I'm going to pull out the woozy blade and stab her with it.
Oh, yes, Crescent Dagger.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm figuring she doesn't have that. She's got everything else I have. But maybe not that. Oh, fuck. Did I?
Fascinating. I'm so excited to find out what happens.
Bryn just got out of her death curse, is a vampire, and is now wielding a cursed blade.
And Jesse's making a lot of notes right now, which is really concerning.
I'm just keeping myself honest. Okay, so here's what happens. You're stabbing evil Bryn, who's on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you've suffered some harm, right?
Me? I've suffered 2.
Okay. So you pull out the woozy blade, as we have referred to it in the past, and nothing happens until you decide to use it to stab evil Bryn. You flip the dagger over in your hand. It's got a longer than normal haft and a big triangle pointed blade. And when you raise it up, you feel your hand tighten around it. And you know that you will not be able to let it go. As well as your other hand involuntarily releases your sword and clasps the other end of the dagger. And you thrust the blade into the back of evil Bryn, who lets out a scream, and you feel all of her life force get sucked into the blade, completely healing you. But while wielding the woozy blade, you are at a -1 to max HP. So you are completely healed, but your max HP is 6.
Okay.
And you cannot let it go. Oh, sorry, no. As you kill her, and her life force is absorbed into the blade, you regain the use of your left hand.
Okay.
But this other hand, you can feel that this blade is a thirsty dagger.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you cannot let it go.
Ever?
Dagger.
I don't know about ever. You guys use magic and shit all the time. I'm sure that you'll be fine.
Okay. Guys, I took her out, but I can't let go of this blade, so...
The
right?
corpse of evil Bryn disintegrates, kind of ashes like a Blade movie, and then blows away. And the crowd goes wild, and they're still chanting void jumpers, but they're no longer chanting evil void jumpers. In the ring, you still have a ninja, but now that you're all looking around, the ninja has started to blend in with the surroundings, and you also have evil Sam the Bard. Tag.
Okay. Tag watched Rex smash someone with a chair and just had this kind of static overcome his vision. It wasn't quite deja vu. It wasn't quite a memory. It was more of a adventurer's intuition, and he just saw. He was finally able to see it not as a chair, but as an object of power, glowing, vibrating with this energy. And he looks up and sees the 4 turnbuckles, and they're also kind of vibrating in a similar frequency, almost glowing slightly. And almost as if magnetized, he's pulled towards one of those, starts to climb up. And when he's on the turnbuckle, turning around, he's still facing outwards. He just can't help but to sort of lose track of what's happening behind him in the ring, and just starts raising his hands up and just grunting at the crowd, getting them louder and louder and louder. And he climbs up even higher, and he just rips his shirt off his sweaty body. He just starts swirling it around his head. He's crying this guttural whoop. Any response from the crowd before I
For sure. You're going to get a +1 as they start chanting, "Rogue, rogue, rogue, rogue."
Right. So he then flips up, and again it's that Patty Jenkins wide slow-mo black flip, and he's just arcing gracefully, beautifully high in the air. And as he starts to come down over top of the bard, all that grace vanishes, and it turns into this like chubby middle schooler doing a cannonball, a belly flop energy, and he just and his limbs start flailing, and he just comes right down on top of the bard.
Okay, roll plus dex.
8.
Okay. You do land on top of the bard, smashing him underneath you. And the two of you are now on the ground, and you deal what would have been 2 harm, but he takes none because of his armor, his cool leather jacket. But you are now on top of the bard.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Again, I think Tag is being piloted by this strange instinct, and the natural finesse of this rogue is just being forgotten about. It seems inconsequential. So he's going to reach around and put the dude's leg under his arm, and just pull it back, and just go.
Okay, this is going to be just a straight strength contest. Roll plus strength.
I think I'm at a +1 for that.
I will double check. You are at a 0 for that.
Good thing that I got a point from Chad. Thank you, Chad. That is a 7.
Okay. You lock up this bard into this leg lock and are in complete control of them. They will be unable to move. They are technically restrained, but you don't deal any harm. Sam, it is your turn. As you turn to face, who are you going to face off against, first of all? Tell me.
Well, now that I see Tag locked up on me, and then it's who's left?
You got a bard and a ninja. Ninja's kind of moving around the outside of the ring in the shadows, and the bard is in a leg lock.
Well, I have an idea for the bard and a leg lock, so I'm gonna turn towards Tag dealing with the bard.
Okay. I had an idea, but I'm gonna just base off what I do off your roll. So hit me with what you have in mind.
All right. So Sam pulls off his wizard hat, and as he does so, the top pointy part falls down flat. He turns it over like a disc, throws it along the canvas, and it spreads out so it goes underneath Tag and the other bard, and we see it sort of formed into almost like a teeter-totter. And Sam runs over and jumps on it, launching both of them up in the air so that Tag can do some sort of pile driver or something to the bar that he's got locked up.
Okay. I think this is just going to be a plus dex. The hat's going to do what the hat's going to do. It's part of the ability, so as long as you expend a charge, it's going to do it. The dex will just be for the maneuver that ensues afterwards.
may have overextended my reach right there. So just to make sure, before I throw my Oso deck dice, following along suit with Tag, as I throw the, I start stomping and clapping, and for whatever reason, now sucked up in the energy brought on by Tag, Sam starts chanting, USA! USA!
The crowd starts, USA! It's obvious they don't know what it is, but they're just like, USA! And you will also get a +1 for crowd.
Sam runs again and bounces off the ropes before letting them propel him back towards the plank, even though in terms of physics it doesn't help at all, but somehow that additional lateral momentum is going to help with his jump. Oh, that's a 9.
All right. So you bounce off the ropes, land on this teeter-totter, and Tag and the Bard flip up into the air. And we pop out into one of those wides that we keep doing for all of the tag work. And you can see Sam standing on the teeter-totter looking up as these two bodies are flipping over him. Bryn is standing there holding this dagger in confusion and looks up. Rex too, everyone's looking up. And then in this wide, we can see kind of like in those places in between the bleachers, you know, that go backwards, the doors are flung open and you just see in slow motion these stewards that are running out, looking over their shoulders. And there's just flashes of magical cameras and spotlights going everywhere. And there's just this very big, broad cinematic wide. And then we punch into where those people are running, and you can see barreling out of the door behind them is the werewoman with her hands still cuffed behind her back, just covered in blood, kind of whipping like froth and blood out in slow motion, charging after these stewards heading straight towards the ring. And I think we're just going to skip to Tag, who's flipping through the air, just to see what your reaction to this is before we jump back to the Cleric. But there is a charging werewoman running towards the ring as well.
Give me that again, Casey.
Atomic drop!
I think one thing that, you know, we all have weaknesses. It seems like Jesse can't do betting improv very well, and we're learning that Connor really doesn't know anything about wrestling words. So whatever that atomic, that's what he does.
All right, roll dex.
8. 8 again. I'm just middle of the road tonight.
Okay. You are able to clamber around and in the air kind of move this bard's legs so they're pointed straight up, and you're wrapped around in fear almost as gravity does the rest of the work, and you drop straight down, smacking the bard's head on the ground. Again, you would have been dealing 3 harm, but because of the armor, only 1 gets through. But the bard falls over onto his back and is now dazed. And Tag, you are sitting there, you know, having just done an atomic drop. As that happens, the werewolf has now this is just what came to mind. It's not even effective, but I'm just gonna go with it because it was my first instinct. The werewolf has now slid to a stop at the bottom of the cage, and the stewards are just climbing up over the cage, and the werewolf has stuck its hands through the bars and is looking at Rex and says, "Quick, get me out of these cuffs. We gotta get out of here."
What?
Quick, get me out of these cuffs.
You tried to attack us earlier. Why should I free you?
You're in a big cage too. We're prisoners. We gotta help each other.
And that inflames my sense of justice. And I'm still a little woozy and lightheaded. And I go, yeah, that's wrong. And I pick up my shield and try and bash it between her handcuffs to free her.
Sure. Roll it. You get the +1 for using your shield to overcome an obstacle.
Ooh. Wait. What do I add to that?
I think plus strength.
That's a 7, my friends.
Okay.
Nice.
You smash your shield down onto the center links of these cuffs, and they pop open. The links go flying. And the werewolf turns and grabs the bars and says, "I'll never forget this." And she starts climbing up the cage after the two.
And I say, me either, unless the head trauma gets me.
There's a werewolf paw that extends into frame and gives you a thumbs up. And she keeps climbing again after the stewards. And you hear her say, "Vlad, this is for you." Bryn. There is a bard who is dazed on the ground and a ninja flitting about in the shadows.
I'm gonna say, hey, Tag, you want to do this really cool move with
You
me?
bet I do.
Okay.
Are we about to?
So we're gonna take out the ninja you. What I want to do is I want both of us at the same time to run at the ropes, and at the last minute turn around so it bounces us. We'll grab hands and we'll clothesline him.
Yes. I Tag know exactly what that is. He reaches his hand out.
Okay.
Bryn, roll kick some ass.
Okay. I'm at a +3. That's a 7.
Okay, cool. With a partial success, you grab Tag's hand and the two of you charge at the ropes and bounce off. And when you turn around and start flinging back towards the ninja, he's no longer there. And the two of you both take...
That sounds like a fail, not a partial success.
4 harm, physical, as he has appeared in a pop of smoke behind you and slashes you with a katana. In a very cool spinning move. And as you turn to react, Bryn, and give your counter strike, you swing. Are you swinging? You just have the dagger in your hand, yeah?
Yes, I do.
You swing and hit air as pop, he is gone again. Tag.
Are you dead? How much harm have you taken, Bryn?
Well, I healed
She fully
myself
healed.
from
Oh, right.
the stab, so I have 2 harm now.
So as Bryn wheels around, strikes the dagger at nothing, she breaks hands from Tag. Tag takes a couple steps, drops to his knees. He's a little sweaty, and he just kind of just throws up a little bit down his chest. Tag is hurting, and he knows that there's no time to heal. You know, the best defense is a good offense. So as he pitches forward onto the mat, he reaches down into the bag, uncocks the continuum grenade, just counts 1, 2, chucks it right up in the air.
Roll plus dex.
7.
Okay. We see this from Tag's POV. The grenade launches up into the air. You can see his hand outstretched in the post toss. There's some blood on it. And the focus shifts from the grenade to a deeper focus, and we see up on the cage, on the ceiling, the werewolf is tearing into one of the stewards, and blood is just dripping down onto the mats.
I don't
And
wanna
her
kill I don't wanna
eyes-
kill her. I don't
widen
remember. It's so nice.
as the continuum grenade explodes. There's a whoomph of light, and everybody feels a light touch of air pass through them and their hair flutter. No one takes any damage nor any positive effects, but the werewolf is blown off the top of the cage and sails through the air, crashing in a heap on the ground. Tag, your 2 HP that had been in reserve are now given to you immediately at full. And the werewolf is not moving.
Still in
the
werewolf
werewolf
form or
okay?
in person
In
form?
werewolf form. Let me just double check the damage on that. The werewolf does count as a blighted creature because of the way that I was running the Halloween game. All of the monsters that spawned were counted as blighted. What is this? Yeah, I feel like it does. It's +2 harm to cleanse, and cleanse does 3. And it's a blighted creature.
Leave her with 1. Come on, this is.
She's not dead. She's not taken 7 harm, I will say.
Okay.
But she is not moving on the ground. Yeah, I just wanted to know how bad it was. Okay, which brings us back to Sam.
So we've got Evil Me on the ground, kind of dazed, and we've got
A crispy ninja.
the crispy ninja, the pantsless ninja doing a vanishing act. Well, he's got everybody focused on him, so I'm going to grab the other chair and I'm going to swing it above my head and then decide better than trying to, just do a regular crack at this wounded evil me. I'm going to put the chair on my evil face and then try to jump up and land butt first on the chair to smash the head of evil me.
All right, roll kick some ass.
8.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I get a... Nope. Wait, hold on. That's a strength?
Yes.
Okay, that is a... Cinco.
What?
Yikes.
What did you roll?
How do
I
you have a
rolled an
negative
8, but I get -3.
Wow.
Your strength is -3?
Yeah, but I got so swept up in the wrestling that I wanted to participate, and I forgot that I'm a scrawny, weak, nerdy wizard now.
I respect it. I also got caught up in it.
You put the chair down on the face of the bard and launch yourself into the air. When you land butt first, putting all your weight into it, you smash into the chair and realize that there's no bard underneath it. And then you look over your shoulder to see that the bard, the evil Sam, is holding his guitar like a battle axe and says,
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, he says, I need to ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
and swings the guitar and hits you full force, dealing with just the smash attack. 3 harm, physical.
Oh yeah, blood squirts out of Sam's head as it's like split open, just like straight up, just like a. You can just hear the crack. You can feel the vibrations through the mat. Oh.
The guitar like explodes in a shower of sparks. Regular Sam goes flying and lands on his back on the mat. And we now have Rex.
So how injured is our party right now?
I don't know. That's for them to tell you.
I have 2 harm.
Sam?
I got 3 harm.
Tag?
I got 2. I've taken 2 harm.
Okay, so Sam is currently unstable.
No, I can go to 4. Right?
No, when you're at 4, you are unstable.
Yeah. So I've only taken 3.
He is unstable.
Yeah, so you're unstable.
When you're
Oh.
at sorry, when you're at 4 remaining HP.
Then I'm unstable too because I'm at a -1 from this dagger. Stop with the evil laughing.
Then I think to myself, I really want to attack this ninja, but I think the stronger course of action is to try and heal both of my friends using my 2 spell charges. Zap! Zap!
Okay.
I think I have to roll for that, though.
Yeah, I think you're only going to be able to do 1 as well. I'm trying to think of a way to let you cheat it, but I think you only get 1.
Maybe if I get a full success on 1, I get another 1.
Yeah, just roll the dice, Rex.
All right, well, then I am going to try and heal our wizard first.
Okay.
And that is... I don't add anything to that, right? It's just a straight roll.
You're rolling plus magic,
Oh.
which should be decent for you.
Yeah, then that's a 10.
Cool. Then you get to do 3 heal on the wizard, and he is stabilized.
Oh, I just wipe away the blood, like, oh man, like it's like it was put on there by like a sponge or something like that. It's just like, oh yeah, now it's just sweat. It's just a little bit of red sweat now.
Which brings us to Barbara Bryn.
So is my magic a +3 then too?
Yeah, you have +3 to everything, so whatever.
Okay. I'm itching to use some magic. It's been way too long. So I'm going to... I don't have my staff. Do I shoot magic out of my sword?
You do have you could use your sword. The way that I've considered it is you have not tried to do magic, but it would come from your sword. But way back in the day I had planned for this.
Okay.
Which is still on the ground, and you still have use of one of your hands.
I would like to, if I can, I would like to pull from the continuum light to reveal the shadow tag. Blast him with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I pull from the continuum here?
Yeah, I think that you can. Yeah. You're going to be rolling at a negative. It's weird. So the way that it will work is this. If you're using like hypnosis or any of that shit that you use as a vampire to do magic, you would be rolling plus magic. But if you're pulling from past or old Bryn's, non-Blight Planet Bryn's, non-necklace Bryn's abilities,
Yeah.
and this goes for anybody, you are rolling at a penalized Blight stat.
Oh, so original stat?
Yes, which would at this point be -3 because of the Blight Planet. It's just the way that I was going to force you to be a barbarian.
Okay. Well, fuck. I haven't
And
been
so the way
rolling
that I
good
always
enough
had it
for
in
that.
mind is that you would not be locked out from your old abilities, but you would be penalized for using them, so the potential for bad stuff to happen would be real.
Okay, then I'm just going to hypnotize shadow tag.
Okay.
What do I add to this?
You will be adding, this one I think is plus magic because you're vampire stuff.
No!
What?
Wait. No!
Oh,
Wait. Everything's a +3. Never mind. I forgot. So that's a 6. That's a 9. Woo! I thought it was negative.
You are able to tell Shadow Tag one command that he will follow.
Shadow tag? You realize that regular tag is like the cooler older brother that you will never live up to, and you're going to get super depressed and defeated and go pout in the corner.
He appears in a puff of smoke and just looks at regular Tag, and his face falls, and he says,
What's up? You look like you're made of farts.
and before Evil Tag can turn around, a section of the cage smashes into him and squishes him into the wall, and you see him fall to the ground lifeless. And the entire party turns to see where that came from, and the werewolf is there. And she's breathing heavy, and she's completely singed, and she looks right at Rex and says, I trusted you, and now you're gonna pay.
I didn't do that. That wasn't my fault. I'm sorry. We weren't trying to hurt you. It just happened.
But Rex's protests are drowned out by the roar of the crowd, who is now shouting, Data analyst! Data analyst! Data analyst! Blackout.
Oh wow! Did not realize how delightful my nostalgia for wrestling was. I did not realize that I was going to get so activated by that.
Mm-hmm.
Squad, I love you all very much, and I want to keep my spirit here for the after party chat, but it's 9:00, and tonight I do have a hard out, so I'm gonna have to run. Please continue to talk about farts in my absence.
Fairly well.
Yay!
I don't actually know how to disconnect this call on my phone. Bye. So much for my
hang up
smooth
symbol.
exit.
It's
Yeah,
at the
I
bottom.
know what it should be.
Bye, Dad.
Bye. You kids take care. It seems like I'm trying to make a joke. I'm not. My phone will not show me. Please, Mark, please cut away. Please.
Lisa, take us out of here while this guy...
I will. So the question for this week came from Connor, actually. He wants to know what recurring dreams or nightmares do you have?
When I was a kid, I'm going to go first. When I was a kid, I used to have this nightmare that would plague me. It didn't happen often, but it happened enough times in which I just called it the Jurassic Park dream. I would be trapped on the island, and just that thought of nowhere being safe and being unable to escape from an entire island that was potentially dangerous was terrifying. And it was Jurassic Park, and it was dinosaurs, and it was terrifying.
Yikes.
Oh.
Yeah. Trin?
I really want to make something up that will sound cool. But it's been a long time since I regularly wrote down my dreams, and I can't think of any that I've had. I can't think of recurring themes that I've had in my dreams.
What about recently? Have you had you find yourself in public not wearing a mask?
Yes, I had
I
that.
haven't had that one.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like the at school with no pants dream, except coronavirus version.
Yeah.
Or showing up
For a
on
while,
set not knowing the script.
Yeah. For a while, I was actually working in an environment where a lot of people weren't wearing masks, so that was like a living nightmare.
And it was reoccurring.
True.
Casey?
This was Connor's question?
Yes.
Well, so this is going to be odd, I suppose. But it's the best way to maybe describe it is dream deja vu. It's like a dream that I've returned to many times, but I can only remember it in that little space between sleep and awake. As soon as I wake up, it fades, and so I couldn't tell you what it is. But I've frequently had the sensation of being like, oh, I've been in this dream. I know what this dream is. I know this terrain.
I've had that feeling.
Out of it, yeah. So that's probably the closest. And then the other thing is just way less interesting, which is this this really muddy field that has all these winding roads, and I've been to that dream terrain multiple times for some reason. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Lisa?
Gosh, I dream so much and so vividly. usually like epic survival dreams. But there's like 6 that I always come back to, the same like plot lines. But what happens in all of them is I can fly. So like air has texture and I can feel the way to fly through it. And I always end up going so high that I'm like, oh shit, I've gone too high. There's not going to be any more oxygen up here. But then I realize I'm okay and I kind of just coast for the bad guys or bad guy that's down. And it's either like people in hot air balloons that are throwing bombs. I've had that since I was like 6. I had that dream. Or it's like some evil spirit entity that I feel is going to be able to find me if I don't fly away far enough.
Whoa.
So yeah, I dream I actually don't enjoy it a lot of the times. I'm like, can I please just stop dreaming? So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know it went a little late today. I got through almost two battles. It was a lot. It was a lot that we plowed through. It's awesome. I want to thank Mark Thomason, our behind-the-scenes tech wizard, working all the magics and being the voice of our donation guy. Thank you, Mark.
Little hearts.
What are those?
Little hearts.
Little hearts?
Yeah. So everybody in Western culture knows the hand heart.
Right.
And people know the big heart. In Korea, they do the little hearts as well. This is like, so it's just like this little heart. So
that's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just learned that this week from a guy on TikTok. I think it's like Your Korean Dad is his name.
Yeah.
He's super adorable. So if you're on TikTok, look him up. I'm not, but people post his videos on Twitter, so I just happen to see them there sometimes, and he's delightful.
There's a lot of great international TikTok and Instagram artists. If you're ever tired of thinking that all social media is toxic and bad, there's a lot of foreign people who are engaged in some really wholesome stuff as well that is super worth checking out. On the Chinese front, I recommend Uncle Roger, who mostly critiques people making things like fried rice.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of his stuff. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's an incredible actor. The dude's totally American, but his sort of like foreign language, like Chinese accent is quite authentic. So yeah, good dialect work.
Yes. Wow, love it. All right, continuing with the thank yous. Thank you to Merc Worky for being our mod, for the donations today. Thank you, Thing.
And the Christmas cards.
Christmas card, I got one too. Thank you for the teeth. I need to remold them. I tried to mold them right before we started and didn't really work great. And I'm still a vampire, so they'll show up next week. Thank you to Aaron Buman for our intro and our music and our bumpers. All that great stuff. To Zombie Orpheus for hosting us on their Twitch. And to all of you guys for watching us. Masters of the Metaverse is done for now. Do we have Zoe game night tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. It'll be on.
Not tomorrow.
In a week.
So the next up is us next Wednesday.
Wowza.
You just get lots of us. All right,
Mark
thank you
says
guys.
You need like 45 minutes to do the molding for the teeth.
45. I only did 15, so that's probably why it didn't work. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.